Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by DraftKings. Week 10 picks against the spread. No more Survivor picks because that is finished for all of us. And what I'm assuming is all of you out there now after just the fire that was week 9 in terms of big money line dog upsets, and probably the top 3 teams that you may have picked in Survivor are they lost, so you're probably out now too. Join the rest of us on the out. If you're still in, you're probably in line for the big money at this point. Free money teasers, a Cust Corner mini. Want to remind everyone to smash the like button for the episode, subscribe to Mayo Media Network, and join the newsletter that is down in the description, where you can always access this show a night early on Tuesday evenings. You'll get that emailed directly to you if you are subscribed to the free Mayo Media newsletter. The Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Listeners League link also down in the description and in the comment section. Always just time code the show for your favorite stuff of the entire year. Geoff Fienberg, whose phone I think is going off right now as I hear it in my ear. Your Chargers put me through a real sweat last week, man. I don't know how you do that every single week.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one. We are really deficient in a way that will make every game a sweat, and that is the run defense. But there's a whole part of the show for us to talk about the Chargers. It was a weird week overall. It was a weird spread in that Charger game. It reminded me a lot of the week 1 game that they went and won on the road, where they also were tied and it was 6-7 minutes left in the game and they won the game and the opponent never touched the ball again. And it was nice to see Herbert do a Mike White impression, or like a poor man's Mike White, you know, because no one's as good as Mike White and no one could be as lucky to have Mike White. But yeah, it's crazy week. Happy the Chargers didn't get caught up in it, even though they did their best.
The coin is in the studio with me. Paul is on the other side of the wall producing the show. So shout out to him as he has a rivalry game coming up this week with Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
That is not my name.
You sure?
I am 100% sure.
Are you?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Are you able to walk yet?
I am still very ginger. My quadriceps are still very sore, but that's the hashtag lift life way. In fact, today my chest, as I worked out chest yesterday pretty intensely, and triceps, which are, for people who don't know, those are the muscles sort of behind your arm. Like, I know you know, but not everybody knows.
You really think that people
work out? I'm a slob. I know where the triceps are, man.
Anyway.
Oh, hold on. Point being, stop. Let's go right here. Geoff, Tim came after his leg day workout. He came and, Tim is like an expert on all this stuff now because he's been working out for 10 days.
Tim's an expert at everything the moment he likes it for 3 minutes. We've learned that over the years.
So he comes in and he tells us, like, he's regaling us with all, physiological information, like the fact that, did you know that your legs are stronger than your arms? Fun fact, Tim quote from Sunday. Like no one in the world knew that before Tim told us.
I didn't know that my legs were stronger than my arms.
How do you not know that?
I just didn't, okay? I'm not one of these people who quote unquote lifts with their legs. When I was younger, I never really understood what that even meant, so I never did that. But I just didn't appreciate like how many more plates I can go ahead and fire on the machines or use the weighted squats with than I can like with a bench press.
Okay. You also you need to get out of the habit of calling them weighted squats. They are just fucking squats.
But you can do squats without weight.
Sure, you can. That is absolutely true. Adding weight doesn't make them weighted squats. They are still just squats.
Okay, well, squats with weight then. However you want it.
Just say fucking squats.
Okay, fine. Squats. Now, where were we going with this? Oh, right, leg day or legs. First, if there's a definitive ranking of the best days to work out, leg day is definitely number 1.
There's
a gap between
not
and
you still can't walk.
Yeah, but it's a good pain. And I know it's leading to something. And I intend to be able to squat a lot of weight. And anyway, I'm loving it. But now my entire body is sore today. So I'm walking like Lurch from the Addams Family. I'm very, very stiff. But that's okay. I'm feeling good. This hashtag lift life is going well.
Geoff, he was not able to do our Sunday sprints, so he goes with different people to the gym. He comes and does cardio with me because I love to do cardio on Sunday mornings before football. Try to burn off like 600-700 calories before I go gouge myself with having some beer, having some chicken wings. You know, I don't want to feel too crappy throughout the course of the day. And then he told us he was doing leg day on Saturday with our friend who's like a mutant, who is just basically a semi-pro bodybuilder. And I was
excellent. Excellent.
Wait, but then you thought that you were going to be able to come run with me the next day. We all told you that would not be the case. You're like, no. What do you know? Turns out we all knew, didn't we?
Well, I didn't quite say, what do you know? I just said I didn't quite feel as sore right afterwards as I was going to feel. So I guess I just didn't appreciate just how sore I'd be after leg. It would still be after leg day because I had drank the protein shakes afterwards and kind of hoped that would flush the lactic acid out of my muscles, but that didn't happen. Yes. Look, I got a lot to learn.
Well, we asked you earlier.
We're going to be at the point where we're like so far along here where it's not even funny anymore, I guess, but we're all kind of also expecting Tim to give up on it, which will lead to these times, historically being even funnier, but I don't know, man. Whatever.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know what? If you started to lift, Geoff, you'd feel differently.
I'm sure. And if you didn't, and if you spent some money on some Mike White and Zach Wilson rookies instead of wasting it all on McDonald's where you won nothing, you'd feel more fulfilled also.
Probably, although I enjoyed that contest and I had a lot of fun with that contest, even though I didn't win the big prizes. Gave me something to do for a month, which I don't know, that's pretty gratifying.
Gave you something?
Well, it gave me a purpose. Like it gave me like a reason to get up in the morning to go get my stickers or hunt for new ones.
Honestly, that sounds so freaking depressing. Thank God you found this lift passion to carry you through the dark times of needing McDonald's contests to get up in the morning to feel. Listen, I'm pathetic myself, but that seems pretty nut low. So I'm again happy for you that you have found this healthy hobby that like fires off the endorphins.
Yeah, you're gonna be high T Tim soon.
I guess so.
Yeah, now that you're You're generating testosterone. You're generating testosterone for the first time in your life. It's going to be good. We don't care about this anymore. And we'll go to the recap of last week. Geoff and I were 8-6, bringing us, we were tied going into the week. We're tied coming out of the week in the lead at 72 and 63 against the spread through 9 weeks. Tim, you are an impressive 4-10. That drops you to last at 66 and 69. And coming off a few bad weeks, the coin, 11-3 against the spread to get back above 500, 69 and 66. You're now 3 games back of the coin. SUPERLOCK, Tim picked the Jets, who did not cover. So he drops to 4-5. And Geoff and I both had, Geoff, your mighty Chargers. You're now 6-3. I'm 8-1 on the SUPERLOCKs. It's like the only thing that I'm doing well this year is the SUPERLOCKs. Even when on the Friday show, when we go through the 3 tiers of picks, I'm only good at the gold pick. The silver and bronze are just absolute trash. So hopefully I can keep this going throughout the course of the year because it is saving my gambling weeks that my biggest bet keeps winning.
Yeah, that's sort of a good philosophy.
When are we going to get to the fireworks factory?
Shut up.
I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, I think I know, but it was a weird, like one of the weirdest weeks ever. And I don't really care we're not here to recap it, but it did seem like there were so many situations league wide where either a team got rid of a malcontent in Beckham and Von Miller in many ways and played maybe their best football games of the year. And then that classic team, losing a superstar in Murray and Derrick Henry and also playing absolutely fantastic. So those were the things that sort of really had my eye in what was the weirdest week like I can recall ever, maybe. I don't want to say ever, but in quite some time.
With their thrilling comeback win on Monday night, Tim won his teaser last week, improving to 3-7, a 5-game 6-point teaser, a victory for Tim. Now 12-91 lifetime on his free money plays. So you're digging yourself up
on the year.
3-7 on the year.
Oh yeah, 3-7. But like I've got a double coming in a couple of weeks, so
that's 2 more
this is
losses.
a good month. November is a good month.
Potentially so.
Historically for the teams.
November might be a really good month, but as we were talking about before the show, you forgot that you had hit this teaser because the one you actually bet lost.
Yes, that is correct.
So, congratulations.
The Jets covered the teaser?
Yeah,
the Jets came like within an iota of covering the spreads. That's right. That is right. If there was a tipped ball that got intercepted at like the 4-yard line, the Jets cover that game.
Yeah.
That's
just
the
a
right
QB
side.
Factory.
The offense is starting to click. We'll get into it when we get into it. I don't want to play this game.
Well, let's go to Thursday night football to kick things off. Baltimore is at Miami, still unsure to as a game time decision for this game. Shut the fuck up while I'm going through this. Can you do that? Do you want to continue to say stuff or what? Do you want me to get to the games?
You can get to the games.
Thank you. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Baltimore and Miami. Tua is a game time decision for this game. 7.5 is the line that the Baltimore is favored on the road. 46.5 is currently the over-under. All these lines are from DraftKingsSportsbook.com. This doesn't seem like enough points regardless of who's playing quarterback. We watched an awful lot of that Texans and Dolphins game on the weekend. Why? There are many reasons why. It was not an enjoyable experience whatsoever, but the run defense for the Dolphins is pretty good. That's about all you can say about them. They love turning the ball over. That's something they're big fans of. Jacoby Brissett likes throwing it into either the offensive lineman or the defensive lineman and just seeing where the ball goes. And as we saw from Miami on the weekend, sometimes it goes to the Dolphins. A lot of times it just goes to the other team. Obviously, Baltimore is rolling right now, but they didn't cover against Minnesota, Geoff. And is this going to be like a steamroll Ravens game, or is this going to be the Ravens that we've seen now for basically the past month where they just dig themselves into this giant hole to start the games? You're like, what is going on? And then Lamar eventually leads them back and they win the game, but they don't necessarily cover the number. Which game do you see happening?
I'm only going to Barry Horowitz myself here, and I don't even know how bold of a statement was, but I did say that game was going to end on a kick. Like, I don't know which way. It's going to be close. It's going to end on a kick. Justin Tucker did just that. A couple weeks ago, last week to be exact, we had the Colts coming into this game, and they were going up against that crazy Thursday nighter off in overtime. And the Jets, I mean, they covered versus the Jets, but that's a tough one. Like, if Mike White plays, that was feeling really different.
I don't know. Hold on. I don't know about that because the Colts got up by like 35 points in that game.
Mike White wasn't playing for most of it. That's why.
They had a guy named Josh Johnson play. Like, Mike White is crazy, but that first drive felt like, oh my God, the Magic Man is back. And like, I know that's going to allow Tim to feel like justified in all his insane takes. I just don't know. So obviously the Colts got that cover. That being said, you laid out the Ravens have really beaten the schnout historically out of bad teams. And as a matchup, this could be a bad one. Now, obviously, I have my own opinions and biases, and I made a point a couple weeks ago with I thought Tua should never play there again. That being said, when Tua's not playing, the Dolphins to me are the least interesting team in the entire National Football League. Like, they are a pain to watch, and that involves staring at Carolina's drive charts, which I could get into later. But per PFF, guys, the Dolphins have given up 234 pressures this year. That's dead last in football, 234. Second last is Carolina at 187. There is a definitive gap between horrible and whatever's going on in Miami. That being said, they can't score points. They give up so much pressure. Short week, better team. I think they'll just make the cover happen, like the short field late, as opposed to Brissett or Tua backdooring it, just give me the Ravens. I don't love it because it goes against all the OT things, and Ravens have been in every close game, but backdoor or getting a free cover, I'm more confident I get the free cover out of Baltimore right now.
I'm going to go Miami. I don't think I'm going to end up betting this game, only because it feels like you could have made this line 13.5 and people would still just randomly bet Baltimore. That it seems somewhat suspicious that it's only 7.5 to me. That's my entire logic on it. That's why I don't really actually want to bet it, but I'll say Miami covers the 7.5. They will weirdly be up like 17-3 in this game somehow and then blow it. That's my prediction for Thursday night.
That makes sense. Dolphins first quarter bet. I could get behind that if you want.
Yeah, there we are. Maybe Mac Hollins' first touchdown again. He ended up scoring one. I should have bet the anytime instead of just the first touchdown. Now, Tim, you can talk now. Thanks for not cutting us off for 2 minutes.
You're very welcome. I'll make it short and I will make it sweet. Baltimore is going to devour the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a very bad match. The last several times these teams have played. I mean, Lamar's game in week 1, was it last year, 2 years ago, when he beat them by 1,000,000 points? When these two teams played on a Thursday night a couple of years ago, the Ravens won by 1,000,000 points. I don't know. The Dolphins just never seem to be a good matchup for Baltimore. I don't care that it's in Miami. I mean, who's going to that stadium in the middle of nowhere on a Thursday night to watch a 2-7 Dolphins team? Nobody. And people aren't traveling from Baltimore to go to the Dolphins game on a Thursday night. It's going to be a very unattended game, not that interesting. Yeah, like Ravens by like 25 or whatever. Give me Baltimore.
You're so...
What?
The coin is also taking Baltimore, so I'm on Miami Island here. This is going to be fun. I hope Tua plays. I hope he wins. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I hope he plays. The Dolphins are the least interesting team right now with Tua not playing. Like, there's nothing I care to watch on their roster except like Gesicki.
Well, the Texans, the team that they played last week, might actually hold that title.
There's still like more unknowns with the Texans, and it's like a rookie head coach. I don't know, but yeah, they're very similar. Like one would be last, the other would be second last. Like at least Detroit, I don't know, they're the most entertaining winless team, and their coach is just its own little entertainment show. I'm not even talking about quality. I'm just talking like quality of team. Seeing the Dolphins as like an outsider, Tua's not playing. Like, I'm just so not interested. They're such a bore. And not to say he's entertaining either, but what a weird sucks for them.
I think
football season was crueler to them than I guess anybody based on expectations.
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl. That's what everyone was saying, according to Tim.
No,
not everyone.
But
there were some. Jeff will back me on that. There were people who were
not Super Bowl. But there was this like cloud of teams, Chargers, Bengals. You know, obviously the Dolphins didn't have the quarterbacking, but everyone saw their roster is far more competitive and complete. They were supposed to be in this mix. To think that there's a 12-13 team like separated by a game AFC right now, and the Dolphins aren't part of that. Like they're in the Jacksonville, Houston
Jets
element of the standings. That's really a shocker. That's a shocker. I'm shocked by that. I'm not even saying that to be mean. You could like the Dolphins, you could hate the Dolphins. I like the team, I like the coach. I'm shocked by where they stand.
Our good friends at Prize Picks have a super giveaway for Thursday night's game. If you go to prizepicks.com and use code MMNNFL, we have the link down in the description of the vid and podcast right now. You'll get a match deposit of up to $100. Like always, you deposit $100, you get another $100 for free. But if Lamar completes a pass or more on Thursday night, you just get another free $25 from Prize Picks if you play a Thursday night football entry. So I recommend that you go do that. Code MMNNFL at prizepicks.com. Here's a main event game for you. We'll go to Tim first on this one. Paul's Buffalo Bills at Tim's New York Jumbo Jets, underdogs by 13 at home. Game total 47.5. Tim, are we getting Magic Mike back?
If he's healthy, and it seems like he will be able to go, I think likely, yes, we're getting Mike White here. And as I sent that meme to you guys from Reddit earlier today, the question is really, is Buffalo a good enough team to lose to the Jets? Because the Jets only beat premium teams. So if the Bills win, that means they're not a premium team. And if they lose, it kind of does mean that they are. But no, let's be serious here. I hate the fact that they beat Jacksonville last week. And I hate the fact that the Patriots beat the Panthers last week, because now Buffalo no longer has any cushion to play with and have got to take this. There's no sleeping on this game. There's no taking this game unseriously. The Bills are up by a half game in the division, and the Patriots are playing the Browns, who now have a bunch of coronavirus concerns and won't be likely at full strength. I think the Bills will be locked and loaded for bear in this game. And while I think Mike White can score points, then as I've been saying on this podcast and to Paul, that the teams that can beat Buffalo are teams that can rough them up and punch them in the mouth and out physical them. And I just don't think the Jets can do that. I mean, they have given up 45 and 53 points in the last two of the last 3 games. So while I think they can score points to make it competitive, I think the Bills are going to win this by 14 points, which is enough for them to cover the spread. I think it should be a high-scoring game, but I think Buffalo takes it seriously. I think they know how much they need to win this football game. They've got to start racking up division wins. They've played the Dolphins twice, but they still have 2 against the Pats, 2 against the Jets. This game is really critical for them, and I expect them to take care of business in Buffalo.
Geoff, have you noticed that no matter who the Jets play at quarterback that isn't Zach Wilson, Zoomer Zach, as he is well known on this show, that the offense looks pretty good?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I noticed.
I mean, but by sure, like you noticed by like watching the games.
Well, the Mike White thing.
This offense sucks. Oh, let's put in Mike White. Let's put in Josh Johnson. They're great.
I will defend Zach by saying, listen, Fields threw some nice balls last night as the game progressed. Certainly. I would say Zach Wilson still probably is 2 of the top 4, maybe like maybe even the top 2 best rookie throws on tape this year.
You are basically what your analysis of Sam Darnold is now just on repeat with Zach Wilson. You realize that?
Well, no, yes, but that just shows that I'm like a lot of people. I'll be right on quarterbacks. I'll be wrong on quarterbacks. My point being is he's still so raw and the ceiling plays are so good that like, I'm not really wanting to throw shade. People can say all this stuff about me and Tua from last year. The ceiling plays were literally at a bare minimum, like 1.5 for like 8 starts. All these other quarterbacks, I've seen some great ceiling plays. That's what I'm here for when it comes to these guys. So, yeah, but you're right. I said the same things about Darnold. I also said the same things about Allen. Like, some guys you're going to be right about, some you're going to be wrong about. Like, no, the ceiling is amazing. You've got to wait this out. Some guys will get it, and some guys will be horrible, like Sam Darnold. I am going to take the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be like one of those games after they lost to Pittsburgh week 1. Sometimes, I don't know, they're not fully comfortable in their pretty girl status because they're Buffalo, and they got to knock themselves down a peg or 2. And I don't know, that's frustrating. That's a really ugly loss for, say, my McDermott Coach of the Year bets. Like, that's a really bad loss for that. But I think even if it's close, they'll find the cover, much like they did versus the Dolphins a couple weeks ago. Like Mike White down multiple scores, not versus the Bengals. That'll just turn into a Jets cover.
I think it really.
A Bills cover.
What's the chances that Zoomer Zach ends up starting? Is that off the table, Tim?
I wouldn't say it's off the table, but given that he is coming off an injury and the team has responded well the last couple of weeks, then he could use there's no point in putting him into a game until he's 100% healthy. I think you need to see what you have in Mike White. I mean, this could be a very valuable trade chip. This could be a very valuable player for the team as they try to stock the franchise going forward. So I would not expect Zach Wilson to play. I think if Mike White can play, I think that's what you need to do right now.
Yeah, so
Tim. Sorry.
go
Pat.
no, go ahead.
I just want to bring up, like, Tim's a monster. And I'm lucky. We started this podcast, or I met Tim a couple years, 2 or 3 years after, like, the Jets and Chargers had some playoff games, all versus where the Chargers lost. Your ability to have confidence through, like, the most common sense, no, this is not a good situation for your team. They're not going to win 3 games in a row against spreads where they're 10-point underdogs. Like, I'm watching the Chargers game. I always think they're going to lose. Like, Pat's seen me watch golf on a Thursday. I don't even do it. I don't even like following golf on Thursday. Like, I just think the worst right away. Go ask Andy Lack. He watched the Charger game with me beside me in person a couple weeks ago. Like, I'm not a positive person, even when things can be, like, bright or like on the up and up. Your ability to just, like, have these insane colored glasses and think things are fine and that you're capable of things you're totally in no world capable of is honestly remarkable.
Well, I don't know how to respond other than, I guess, first to say thank you. And I'm trying to think. There's an old Winston Churchill line about some people just being able to get knocked down over and over again and just willing to get up and face the future. Like that, that's who I am, I guess.
I actually think that you're quoting Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
And I want to go, like, I also want to ask you why you think you're not soft, but the only reason I could think that you are not soft, like, because for all those things, like, you have all these automatic disqualifiers that just make you soft because, like, a nightlight, but your ability to just say something that you believe in and take all the, like, take 75 tweets of people insulting and bashing you and not, like, batting an eye at it. Like, that's your hardest quality. But
yeah, there's something
why do you
about
think
being
you're
knocked
not
down
soft?
on a
Why
daily.
do you think you're not? Like, no, sorry. What would make someone soft, I guess, is what I'm trying to
Missing
ask.
football
Or do you
games.
just look in the mirror and see a different person? Like, I have a friend who very much like me in many ways, both even in appearance, but we would joke that, like, he would look in the mirror and see, let's go back to, like, 1997. He would look in the mirror and see, like, Brian Urlacher looking back at him. You know what I mean? Not like this grimace looking fellow that's actually looking back at you in the mirror. So you see a guy that can run for 10 yards and defend a pass and fall from space and survive the Arctic. Like, that's what you see when you look in the mirror. So obviously you can't see yourself as soft, right?
No, I think I'm an incredibly tough person. I can take those slings and arrows and get knocked down over and over again and just keep on going. And it doesn't bother me. I have a stick-to-itiveness, and I follow the convictions of my conscience wherever it leads me. It doesn't bother me. I think people who are so easily swayed by public opinion are soft.
Oh, so that's one thing. Oh, main character syndrome. There he is once again.
No, that's not what I have.
Everything just has to revolve around you. We even determined this on Sunday when we were watching the games. Everyone said it that we were sitting with.
No.
Everything just had to wrap around to you. You see the entire world through the lens of you. We actually had a viewer compile a list of things you said were not soft last week, by the way. If you would
saw that.
If you would like to hear them, they were. So here's a list of things that aren't soft according to you. Delicate hands, adult nightlight, fear of driving in the snow, wearing latex gloves while eating chicken wings, an aversion to, quote, melty things, fear of forks scraping together and the sound that it makes, fear of step stools and stairs, fear of haunted houses, afternoon naps. I'm on board with that. Probably soft, but I do enjoy them. Fear of parking and busy stores, fear of gas pumps, fear of automatic car washing stations, gloves for cold steering wheels, and bruising very, very easily. Not soft, according to you, but you called Tua soft when he didn't play because his hand was broken.
Hand was broken. He had a little micro fracture in his finger, but God forbid he play those games. Look, none of those things make me soft. A person who doesn't have his or her own mind and is easily swayed to just agree to whatever's said. That's somebody who can be soft.
So what you're saying is you're not a sheep?
Well, I would say no, I'm not.
I mean,
You're a critical thinker.
I am a critical thinker. Yes, that's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, but the critical part is just detrimental to you when you're the critical thinker. That's the problem.
If you say so, I'm not bothered by these things.
Okay. So that's our soft update for Tim. I'm also going to take Buffalo. The coin is going with the Jets in this circumstance. Tampa Bay and Washington. Tampa coming off the bye week. Washington coming off the bye week. The Washington football team is a 9.5-point underdog at home. 51 is the over-under. The football team is now 1-7 against the spread at some point. This game was pretty close in the playoffs last year. Obviously, Washington hasn't been up to the same caliber. However, if you look at what Tampa was like going into the bye week when they lost to the Saints, they came back in that game, but Brady was pretty rattled getting on. And it's the one thing that we've kind of seen with Brady throughout the course of his career, that get him off of his favorite throwing spot, make him a little bit uncomfortable, jumping at his legs, creating that pressure, and he just looks like he'll give you the ball. It happens like 3 or 4 times a year. Brady just looks completely out of sync with everyone. He did in that game against the Saints. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case this week against Washington, but the only thing that Washington does well is they still get to the passer. That they can do. Everything else on the field, they seem to be an abject failure at. So if Brady just kind of lobs it up in the air, it's probably going to be a 60-yard touchdown. But I do think that Washington's the right type of team to bother Brady enough to, I don't want to say keep it close because I don't feel like this is a 3-point game, but I do think that Washington can cover. Am I completely off base with this?
No, I'll take Washington also. I'll take these points. I agree almost in most of what you said. Fully expect Tampa to win. Don't even expect it to be all that close or feel like, the Tampa loss will be a sweat, but they can cause Brady trouble. The Bucs are off a bye, which they're off a loss and off a bye, which leads me to want to make the pick on them. This is one of my least favorite games having to pick of the week. I'm just taking the 10 points. But Washington, I don't know, maybe because their division was so bad and more people were picking them to win their division than Miami, they could maybe be actually worse than Miami in terms of results versus September expectations. But give me Washington plus 10. Last time we saw them, it's a miracle they didn't cover versus the Packers. That cost me a lot, to be honest.
Well, that's going to be fun when they get into the red zone 8 times and come away with a grand total of 3 points. I am going to take Washington as well. The coin is taking Washington. Tim, can you make it around to Washington?
I will not. Give me the Buccaneers. I don't trust this Washington. Geoff says that Miami without Tua is the team he's least interested in watching in the NFL. I think the Washington football team is the team I'm least interested in watching week in, week out. There's nothing to them. They're boring. They don't have any flash. They do stupid things time after time when they get in the red zone, but without it being funny. Like, there's just nothing to them. No. I think Tampa, who has themselves probably in pole position in the NFC as better team now, should, I think, take apart this Washington team. So
you think they're in pole
that's where I'm
position?
going.
You think they're in pole position in the NFC? I mean, the Cardinals have to be. They just won a game at a division rival on the road with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, but they still have lots of games left in the NFC West, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get to play very soft teams coming down the stretch. So it's just a matter of I think just the odds favor Tampa, even though, of course, you're right. Arizona has 8 wins and 1 loss.
Atlanta at Dallas. Dallas is favored by 8.5 in this game at home, coming off a really brutal performance. 54.5, is the over-under in this game. That was the first loss against the spread the Cowboys have had all season long. We kind of talked about this on last week's show. I think it's why we all took Denver's. Just no matter what you think
I
about
took Dallas.
You took Dallas? Ah, well,
Yeah.
happens. That teams just don't run the table against the spread. It doesn't work out that way. And they won and covered some games that they probably shouldn't have covered, and eventually it kind of came back and they got steamrolled. The issue with Atlanta is, I mean, are the Chargers and Dallas far more similar, Geoff, than maybe a lot of people think? That if you can just run the ball, you can make games real tight with them if you want to.
I haven't watched enough Dallas to know if they get pistol whipped on first down every single play, where like it's just a grind. I don't want to get into what watching them is like. It's just not enjoyable. But yeah, I guess like Dallas, you're like, okay, you're gonna score, you're gonna take lots of time, just give me the ball. I'm gonna score quickly, and I hope I can win first down, and then maybe we can make a stop from that. But sure, I don't know. I trust Dallas's ability to run the ball better. I don't know, Pat. I guess I don't know. I'd hate to think there's another one like us out there, though.
Atlanta has the 7 seed right now in the NFC somehow, despite seemingly being terrible. But they just keep piling up some of these wins. There's a big win against New Orleans for them last week. A.J. Terrell is starting to look like a legitimate shutdown corner. I think Dallas's main problem, Tim, is that they're really beat up right now. Like, Dak didn't look like 100%. CeeDee Lamb didn't look like he was running at 100%. Even Amari looked banged up. Maybe it looks like they're going to get Michael Gallup back this week, but on the offensive line, on the defensive line, they're just kind of banged up everywhere right now, but not so crippled that their guys aren't playing. They're like playing through injury. They just don't seem to be on the same page and looking as explosive as they did like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I think that's all very well said. And I think the Falcons are the play here against the number, which, I just don't mind getting over a touchdown here with the Falcons. It just seems like a smart play. They still have playmakers. They can score with Dallas. If Dallas does put it up, Dallas looked out of sorts. Obviously, they had Cooper Rush against Minnesota. So that's why they had trouble moving the ball with any efficacy. And then they just were completely confused against Denver. Your point's well taken that they were injured, and I guess lucky for them, they're in a division where it doesn't really matter if they're not that good because they're significantly better than everybody else. But yeah, I think there's going to be a close-ish game. I would definitely take Dallas on the money line, but I'll take the Falcons against the spread.
I'm actually going to go back to Dallas here. I think it's a nice get-right situation for them where maybe after another week they can be a little bit healthier. But one of the main things that I always want to look at every single week is where can you attack Dallas the most? It is through the rushing game. Like the Chargers, they're a bottom 7 run defense. They're actually pretty comparable when it comes to being able to stop the run. And Denver really took advantage of that last week. Why? They have 2 really good running backs. They have a good running system. Atlanta doesn't. Atlanta has 2 running backs. One of them is actually a receiver, and the other one is Mike Davis. So
The other one's on the pig farm. They scored that many. I saw it at Davis prop, it was like 26 yards. I'm like, they scored that many points. The guy's a pig. I say that like me and my buddies in our fantasy football. It's like, if you don't have like one of like X running backs, we just call it like pig farming. It's like when you go no RB, you're pig farming.
Yeah,
you got a team of Cedric Benson's type shit.
Yeah, it's like how Tim is starting Alex Collins as one of his running backs.
Sure, yeah. Like even you don't have to be like out of shape running back to be like for me to make the pig farm joke. You just this guy is horrible. I'm with you, Pat. I didn't really flinch on this. It's kind of the same attitude I'm taking to that Bills cover. Am I betting them? I'm not sure, but I'm going to be consistent here and take good teams playing bad teams off these embarrassing losses. There's the Dan Quinn factor, which I think, if they love their coach, we see this a lot, that they'll rise. Even he's not the head coach, but he's a coordinator, but they're like mini teams. The defense is, they're like these locker rooms. They don't even know each other, but the defense works with the defense. And that's a really stupid comment. I think they'll just make Atlanta's life harder in that respect. Yeah, I don't know. They could bully Atlanta, even not having a good run defense. Parsons and Pitts, that'll be a fun little thing to follow along. But I'm just being consistent. good teams off embarrassing losses. I don't think I'll go 0-2 with the Bills Cowboys calls.
Tyron Smith's playing, right?
I assume he's playing
Okay, good.
pretty early in the week. We don't even have injury reports yet. So I don't, when we record this, so I don't want to make a statement. And
so the biggest thing for me here, like I said, the run defense, I don't think Atlanta can fully take advantage of that on the offensive side of the ball. Like when Dallas is playing defense, their pass rush is still pretty good. Atlanta can't block. That's still a real problem that they have. Maybe, they've found some cohesion over the past few weeks, but on the whole, it hasn't been pretty good. So that's double advantage Dallas at the line of scrimmage. So that's just going to lead me to Dallas. Breaking news here off the Cowboys game. Legatron was just placed on the COVID list, so they need to find a kicker for this game against the Falcons. Maybe that pressures them into going for 2 a bunch or going on 4th down, which probably actually helps them. It takes the decision-making out of Mike McCarthy's hands, which can only be a good thing.
Well, they went 0-2 early in that game. I mean, that game kind of got away from them they drove the ball early and they just didn't convert.
You got to keep doing it. Hey, listen, if the Chargers hadn't have tried to do it at the end of the game after they didn't get it twice early in the game, they wouldn't have been able to ice it. They would have had to rely on like a 47-yard field goal to try to win the game and give the ball back to the Eagles. Instead, they went for it. They got it.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying the game just had this weird early lopsided vibe to it, but Dallas was on at least early on their first couple possessions were moving the ball. And I agree, and I don't really understand. I saw it after the fact. The internet was like turning on Staley quickly in that game. I'm not really sure what he was doing differently in some of these geniuses' opinions last week or this week that he wasn't doing previous, but I don't know. I guess a fickle bunch.
If only they had that Monday press conference, then you could hear more about it.
Don't even like, I honestly, I don't want to, I've had the thoughts I have had in my head to get their attention. For some reason, the Chargers have stopped for the last couple of weeks posting the Monday presser. I was traveling last week, and sometimes I'm bad at technology, and I initially blame myself, like Fienberg, you're just stupid. It's out there. You're just too stupid to find it. Comes to my attention, while I might be stupid, it's literally not getting out there. The Monday presser. I want to hear everything. I love hearing everything. I've checked all the platforms, Twitter, YouTube, the app, even things I don't have platforms. Like maybe they're putting it there to get people to sign up. Every time Staley speaks, I like him more. I want to hear every word. I do enjoy the beat writers the team has. I think they ask good questions. They ask good questions, thoughtful questions. Questions that involve yesterday's game that they got a chance to sleep on. Questions that involve playing off responses that coach gave them yesterday in his post-game presser to sort of put his words against something. And he's so articulate and thoughtful with all his responses that it's truly a treat to watch. I don't know. Like, I might consider a hunger strike until I get that. Like, I need to go to extreme. That's how much I like them.
Don't you have direct connections?
Well, I'm going to flaunt that. I'm going to be like, don't make me take this to the highest level and embarrass a lazy POS on your digital or PR team. Like, what is this?
I like that you thought that I like that you thought that the Chargers were going to start, if they had their own special platform, or maybe that they were charging people to watch their press conferences, which would have exactly that would have one buyer in the world.
No, I would pay. If that's what they want, if they want donations, I would pay. That's a good 15, 20 minute, like, great presser. And there's 2 or 3 beat reporters that I love that ask really good questions. So it's just good to hear, and I enjoy it. I can get through anything. Like, I save that for an annoying 30 minutes because it makes it that much faster hearing him speak. And no, I wasn't. If they want me to pay or donate, I would. My point was, I've looked like maybe there's Chargers TikTok. Like maybe they're posting them on platforms that I don't like have an account on, even Facebook. or something. But
Just
no,
remember this, folks. When it comes time to vote, who thought that the Chargers press conference would be on a TikTok feed that you'd have to pay for? In between people doing in between videos of people doing the floss and what other else they're doing.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay,
And-
so I like how
And
concerned
the Harlem
you are.
Shake or
You are-
whatever else they're doing on videos.
Well, you're very concerned about at the Custy Awards this year trying to not win most insane, but Geoff is passionate about his team and he's looking to find these press conferences and he's exhausting every avenue. He can't just go into a grocery store and just ask people where the most obvious things are, which would be what an insane person would do. Oh, that's what you
exactly.
do. Or he's not the same person that thought that olive oil had no calories in it.
So dumb. This
It
guy.
seemed like
he's
it should-
insane. Another part about it. I'm not the Jets. I don't live in New York. So there's not all this attention even when we're bad. But Tim, you want to talk about insane? We have our own like group, small little DM thing here. He's been flooding it with Jets Reddit things. Nobody cares. Like, I don't want to be on that level. So that's so much more insane than anything I'm doing. Jets Reddit screen grabs? Like, what?
They make me laugh.
Denzel Mims has COVID. He is out against the Bills, Tim.
Oh no, Mims was actually a pretty important player for the last couple of weeks, and that's very unfortunate.
See, that is more insane than everything Geoff just said.
Really, than thinking that the Chargers coaches press conference would be on TikTok in between videos of the Harlem Shake and whatever else.
That was just desperate times. Like, I'm looking everywhere. And then when I'm going to make accusations, Tim, I want to make sure I've checked everywhere. So when I raise the concern, which I have.
I can't find my keys. Maybe it's in the box with the Christmas ornaments. That's where I left it. Sure, that's essentially what you're doing.
Why? He went to a video medium to try to find a video. I don't see why that's so crazy.
Sure. Okay, sure. Fine. No, that's perfectly reasonable that he was checking out the TikTok for a Chargers post-game day after press conference. What do I know? No, perfectly sane behavior. Okay, fine. Yeah, I rest my case. I'm sorry.
Buddy, you're Marshmallow Man soft.
Oh, please, Marshmallow Man soft. You're the one who is begging online, begging for a press conference to be made available to you.
Damn, I don't know who to ask. I don't know where to ask. You're making it like I'm asking someone where the milk is.
In fairness,
store.
if you type in Chargers TikTok into Google, the first thing that comes up, it just says, watch Los Angeles Chargers latest videos on @Chargers at TikTok. That seems pretty reasonable.
I don't doubt that they have a TikTok. I'm sure every NFL team does.
And that's where you watch their videos. So I don't understand how that's such a leap for you.
But TikTok is a medium for like 30-second vids, not for
honestly, if I could have only one presser a week, it would be the Monday. It would be the Monday.
How many pressers are you watching?
Everyone. There's.
God.
What do you mean? You're not watching Salah speak? You're giving up 40 points.
I'll watch like a press conference hither and there, but I don't watch every single one and then have opinions on the the types of questions that the New York media asks. Like they're not actually fun.
But I'm just saying, my coach gives incredible. I watched horrible ones with McCoy and Lynn. I just like to know. I want to know what they're saying.
Okay.
And yeah. So there's Monday, there's Wednesday, there's Friday, and then there's post game. Post game is usually like 8 or 9 minutes. Monday's usually long because it's sort of a combo of post game with deeper thought. So it's the best one. Wednesday is where we are like practice and things and maybe the next opponent. And Friday's brief. It's a quick 4 or 5 minutes injury report update, 1 or 2 questions, and we're out. So that's it. Yeah. So I don't know why I'm not getting Monday, but I get all the other ones.
Tim is too busy, instead of watching press conferences, trolling Jaguars Reddit and Dolphins Reddit to see the misery of those people. That's what he's up to instead of watching about his own team.
They have Coach Staley on Good Morning Football, but they don't have his press conference. Like,
You should write the NFL Network a letter.
no, the NFL Network has nothing to do with them. Don't worry. I have 2 beat reporters. It's really annoying because I've now bugged 2 beat reporters who are going to ask the PR guy what's going on. And they're both going to be like, on separate occasions, they're both going to be like, this annoying guy's bugging me. So I'm going to ask him for you. And we'll see. But now everything they tweet on any platform, I'm responding with a copy and paste question, begging them to remedy this. I don't want to have to let them know where my relationships lie, though. That's mean.
New Orleans at Tennessee. Tennessee is favored by 3 at home, coming off a big win against the Rams on Sunday night. 44.5 is the over-under in this game. This one is the only game that I have bet so far this week. I saw the line. I instantly bet it. I think it's going to be my super lock. I love the Saints in this game. I don't care. I would actually think it'd be better if Taysom Hill played quarterback for them this week because the Titans can't stop the run, and all the Saints can really do is stop the run. I am hearing rumblings that the Saints are actually working out running back, so there could be something wrong with Alvin Kamara. That's not great news when your best player would end up going down. But I think this is sort of a reaction to the Saints losing last week against the Falcons and a big surprise upset win in prime time for the Titans. This game felt like more of a pick'em to me. I actually think that New Orleans might be the better team, although Tennessee just continues to slap me in the face with everything and beating every good team in football. I think the Saints catch them here. I think they're one of the more better designed teams to give Tennessee a lot of problems with how good they are both running the ball, at stopping the run, and actually having a pretty good back end and being able to get to the passer because Tennessee's offensive line is not all that great. And it fits my theory of New Orleans not favored by more than 3 points in a game. Bet on New Orleans, where they have come through every single time this season. Give me the Saints.
I'm just piggybacking you. I've said too many words about stupid press conference. I just agree with everything you said, especially how the spot just lines up perfectly for the Saints. Matchup and spot advantages, overreaction advantages. Saints. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it seems like a logical super lock pick as well, though I don't think I'll be there.
Tim?
Line's way too short. The Titans have got to be the play here. The Titans have beaten the Bills, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Colts. They have been playing great football. The Saints don't have their quarterback. The game's in Nashville. The New Orleans Saints going outdoors now when it's starting to get a little cooler early. And the Titans are only 3, or in DraftKings right now they're 2.5 point favorites. I don't understand the line. It's if the only reason in my mind to take New Orleans is that the line does it smells badly. I'm going to play the Titans. They've been playing good football, and there's a team that's not soft. There's a team that's taking a hit after hit and just keeps being resilient. And I expect them to be continuing to be resilient. I like the Titans here quite a bit.
You going to make them your super lock?
No. I have another game that I particularly love for my super lock.
It was a perfect storm for them last week, in my opinion, in so many regards. This might come out a way as diminishing them, but I picked them in many of those big victories: the Chiefs victory, the Bills victory,
Colts.
I might not have picked them there. I was that was silly. But
I mean,
guess I was happy.
They were down 17-0 to start that game.
I don't know. That last week's game just struck me in a very NBA type situation where you see a superstar get hurt on a team, and then for the first game, a team plays great. They play great. Everyone says you ain't shit without this guy. At a conference game for the Rams, who I don't even need to look at the schedule. I just assume the Rams have a big game on primetime the following week in division. Of course.
Hold on. What are you doing, Tim?
Pardon me. I had a couple of sneezes.
Those were sneezes?
Yes. Pardon me.
That was some sound.
Oh, goodness.
You okay
It's not
now?
going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, Geoff. Sorry to cut you off there. I thought like, there was like a,
Oh, it must be dusty or something. I'm
If
sorry.
this was a Seinfeld, this would turn into like
yeah. You have a set. Paul says you have a soft sounding sneeze.
I was gonna say it sounded like a very
Oh, please.
feminine sneeze.
No, I do not have a soft sounding sneeze. Stop it. Stop it.
Real men don't sneeze, Tim.
That is not true.
It's true. Facts.
Oh, please. You don't know what you're
Facts.
talking about.
Facts.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Come on.
Like this would have been a Seinfeld where someone would have handed you a tissue and said, "Here you go, madam," and then it would have turned into a whole thing. But the sneeze, it sounded soft.
It was the sneeze. I thought it was a woman. Yeah, I can see that. Let's bring back Seinfeld. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, we're still talking about this game. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we're good.
The-
We're good.
The
Right.
Titans haven't lost since Doug the Pug showed up, so
That's
they
tr-
got that mad energy.
That's true.
That still has been
The last time the Titans lost a football game was a hinge game against the Jets.
Yeah, so you hope they don't lose again, win the Super Bowl, so you could take some credit.
Yeah.
Well,
Not-
I'm going to
not-
take credit.
Not only do we have the third pick, we beat the Super Bowl champions. Jacksonville is at Indy, coming off a big win. Jacksonville, the better Josh Allen, as Tim was calling him all day, and he turned out to be the better Josh Allen on Jacksonville. They're 10-point dogs at Indianapolis. I don't like these 10 points. There's too many of these big spreads this week. I don't like this because you know that 2 or 3 of them are going to cover, and the other ones are just going to be ridiculous. Are we? Do you think that Jacksonville's getting now too much credit on this spread after
Yes.
what they did against Buffalo?
Yes. We're teasing them down. They're the first leg of a 6.5 point tease. And I don't I mean, look, the Jags had their Super Bowl last week at home. They played great. A lot of things had to go their way. They still played poorly. They missed 3 consecutive field goals at one point. It just
On one
took the
drive. They
better-
missed 3 field goals on one drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. It took the better. What it took was the better Josh Allen to ruin the game in order for Jacksonville to win. Otherwise, like they had every opportunity to lose. So yeah, that's like a ceiling game for Jacksonville, and they scored 9 points. The Colts played phenomenally on Thursday offensively, and they're coming off a mini bye, and the game is at home, and I like them quite a bit. And let's play the Colts.
Yeah, I just don't see how Jacksonville stops Jonathan Taylor in this game. I'll take Indy -10. Jeff?
JTT.
Just JT. No extra T. He's
I
JT.
hate that
He's
I've been taking all
JTTD.
these
Right.
Colts, extra time, really good coach, horrible coach. I mean, I don't know. I hate like not zigzagging on any of these big spreads, and there's more to come. But I do feel like I'll have a dog in the next early game big number. Just give me the Colts. Jacksonville. I don't know. Like the Bills, between how they played versus Miami and Jacksonville, I don't know. They're just kind of sleepwalking. Jacksonville should have trained them. Every time I was looking at that game, they were on plus territory, scoring no points. Give me the Colts.
Well, maybe it's like after you have a good lay, like if you have a good glow to you afterwards, like you feel good about yourself. Maybe that's what Urban Meyer
Yeah,
brought
like
back
Dallas.
to the
Dallas
but-
won with the backup.
Yeah, but
And then-
I'm saying that like maybe that's what actually happened to Urban Meyer. He had the good lay. He came back to the team, was like, here we go, game on, rest of the season.
Oh, I guess I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. A lot of the pundits though are starting to. Trevor Lawrence is starting to take criticism that only Tim Anderson was willing to dish out.
Yeah, how about that? How about this guy isn't John Elway? How about that? How about some of us knew that he had some flaws that
You knew.
look, I was the only person on here. And again, you want to talk about somebody who stood on Twitter and took a barrage of hate tweets from people when I kept saying over and over again that I just don't see the all-time specialness that some people, deigned to give Trevor Lawrence. And you know what? Through a half of a season, I look more right than I'm wrong. And
But
I'm here to collect my credit.
What about that time, the 1 week when the Jets had the first pick last year before losing it, when all of a sudden Trevor Lawrence became the best quarterback who's ever come out of college, according to you?
Sounds like I don't think I said that.
You did?
All. What I think I did was start to play the good soldier, thinking that that's where things were going to go. And you gotta support the team even when they're doing things that you don't particularly like with the roster.
Oh, I see how that works then. Yeah, it wouldn't change your opinion based on who got drafted where now, would it? Detroit at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's an 8-point favorite at home, coming off the Monday night game where they almost lost somehow. 42 is the over. I mean, they should have lost on Monday night, but they won. Now they're 8-point favorites against Detroit coming off the bye. I think a lot of people will want to take the Lions here +8. I am not buying that for a second. I don't know how Detroit creates offense against this team. At least Fields was able to run around. Fields actually looked really good on Monday night in the second half. The goof doesn't have that in him. Give me the Steelers -8.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we're teasing the Steelers down. They're the second part of the tease. I think this line is way too short. Why in heaven's name in Pittsburgh is Detroit only a 1.5 longer odds than Chicago? That makes absolutely no sense. The line value is with the Steelers here. That's the way to play it.
Geoff?
I'm one of these people, I guess you're right, Pat, and I'm such a mark. They could have probably made this line 7 or something, and I would still lean Detroit. We record that, I'm so clouded by how bad Pittsburgh won in victory not many hours ago. I am taking the lines, and I don't think I haven't taken the bait on the Lions all year. And I don't even think I'm taking the bait on the Lions this time. I am just like everyone you are fading, essentially, Pat, who's we just want to we're just angry that Pittsburgh won. Not that I care. I covered on a bet I made last night with Chicago. I didn't bet them to win. They covered the spread. They did all I needed them to, but it was just such an unimpressive situation of events on Monday night that are so fresh in everyone's in mind. So you and Tim make great points about how it's probably crazy and how the line comparison to Chicago and Detroit is laughable in and of itself. I'm taking Dan Campbell off a bye. I don't know how many rah-rahs can still work. You haven't won a game. There's so many times you can kick the door down and show nothing. I feel like there's one left and it's out of the bye. Let's do this. I don't know. Bite ankles. Hire Mac Jones. Whatever it works. Yeah.
Well, some coaches spend the bye week prepping for their next opponent. Dan Campbell is probably with Cust at the gym doing leg day, trying to get real swole. That's just what I envision Dan Campbell is up to in these scenarios. Pittsburgh's not a good team, but they gotta do everything better than the Lions do. You want to take advantage of the Steelers, just throw mid-range to deep passes against them. Once the Bears figured that out, they were good to go and they started moving the ball. I just don't think Detroit can do that.
The Bears were when they were getting pressure, they had the Steelers where they wanted them, because Ben can't really evade.
Can't do anything. And
no,
it looks like
so a team that can get to this get through the Steelers' offensive line will dominate them, but Detroit doesn't have that ability. So.
Ben loaded up and put everything he had into a throw, and it went 39 yards.
Hey, it was complete though.
Yes, it was. And credit to him. I'll honestly just say, in much the same way I liked Chicago yesterday. I am not laying more than a touchdown versus Pittsburgh. Maybe against, you'd say anybody. I don't know, a little more confidence in Detroit than say Houston. But there are very few teams in the league that I would take Pittsburgh minus over a touchdown, and I guess Detroit isn't one of them for me. Give me Detroit.
I completely see where you're saying. I think these teams are probably a lot closer than 8 points if you just look at the quality of the team and the upside of the team. But I mean, the big factor here is that Pittsburgh does have a good defense, as long as we're not talking about the secondary. And I just don't think that the Lions can do anything about that. So it's going to be really hard for them to manufacture points, I think. Maybe Pittsburgh won't score any points. This feels like a 20-10 type game.
The Chargers play Pittsburgh next week.
Where?
On Sunday Night Football.
Where?
In LA, but it'll feel like Pittsburgh.
I love the Chargers in that game. Anyway, next game. This might be like weirdly the game of the morning. Cleveland at New England. Like this has real implications in the AFC. The Patriots are favored.
It's totally the game of the morning. Other than Bill Katz.
This is the fucking third time you've stepped on my intro. You realize that, right?
I am an idiot.
Can you just make a note to yourself to just let me read the lines in the total before you interrupt me? Like, can you put it next to your act sane note that you have?
Yes, I'm writing clicks mute every time you start a new game.
And remember, unmute when you have to start talking, because I know that you'll forget to do that.
No, I won't.
Are you sure? Because you didn't mute yourself when you were sneezing like a real soft person.
I should have muted. We're not soft. Stop that. People sneeze the way they sneeze. Soft. Imagine.
Browns and Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 1.5 at home in this game. 45.5 is the over-under. You got dirty Mac Jones. I mean, it's going to be tough if Myles Garrett gets anywhere near him. Twisted ankle. He's fucking Ken Shamrock out there on the field. I don't know what to do. Nick Chubb, it looks like he's going to be out in this game. He's been placed on the COVID list early in the week. No idea if he's going to play. I would bet that he doesn't play because we've rarely seen anyone. I guess Saquon would have been the only guy last week who tested positive, then had the double negative, and he would have been able to play, but he was too injured to play anyway. So I guess it didn't even really matter. So Chubb could play. Chubb might not play. I don't think that's the biggest killer for them. Dearness Johnson looked good enough in the game. I feel like the Browns are the much superior team, but I just feel like Belichick is going to make Baker's life a fucking living hell in this spot. And now I don't know what to do, Geoff. Were you listening to me?
I was, yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I didn't know whether it was my turn. I didn't want to interrupt anybody. You yelled at Tim,
He
but
finished
I felt
the sentence by saying, "What do you think, Geoff?"
Oh, then I don't know. That might have cut off.
Oh, yeah, cut off. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't want to interrupt anybody. Yeah, the Browns are the more talented team, but the Patriots have just been beating more talented teams forever. And again, another game where the Charger game could have had a lopsided score like the Carolina game, although probably not. Carolina can't move the football. They're abhorrent if you stare at their drive charts in like some of their games this year. But the Charger game felt like an 18-point loss or whatever that was, although it was a 3-point loss. And they can make their life a living hell. But it does feel like the Browns are some of the ingredients to counteract that and do a lot of the same corny things, but with a better roster. And what that, I mean, you just watch the Patriots. It's again Brady's first 4 years in the league. Like everything about it. Amazing schematic defense that just confuses quarterbacks and a coaching advantage on defense. And then an offense that they just love. Like it's just this, just nibble. They'll just nibble you to death and use all three downs effectively. I don't know. Guys are running open when they do drop back to pass. I'm going to take the Browns, but I feel like it's wrong.
I'm going to take the Browns as well. Do you know by Pro Football Focus, the Browns are the second best team in football?
Well, they have played some impressive games. I mean, and even in their losses, like they lost the Chargers by 5. They lost the Chiefs by 3 or 4. They lost to the Bengals early in the year, close. Like
Steelers are 5-4. You know,
Steelers are 5-4. Like the Browns beat the Vikings, who, the Vikings are 3-5, but they're a better team than the record shows. So I can see that. That being said, there's no doubt in my mind that the New England Patriots are the play in this game. No doubt. I love New England. in this spot. They are almost out of tough games going down the stretch to fight Buffalo for a playoff spot and for a division, other than playing each other twice. And this is one of them, and I expect Belichick to have this team locked and loaded and ready to take apart, as you said, to make Baker Mayfield's life a living hell. And I mean, they're not going to be healthy at running back. The receivers are not the type of receivers I expect to take advantage of the Patriots secondary. The Patriots can get pressure, and they can also score, as we've seen this year. The Patriots are quietly, and no one wants to admit it, but they're in an AFC which is incredibly in flux. The Patriots are every bit as good as anybody else, as much as it pains me to say that. And so we have to take the Patriots here.
Yeah, the Patriots are just getting by being slightly above average at everything. They're one of the most balanced teams right now. I mean, their run defense isn't very good, but like we mentioned, Chubb's probably not going to play. Although I do think that the Browns will still be able to run the ball. They're a very good schematic running team that they're kind of able to run the ball with. Like losing Nick Chubb, as we saw in that Denver game, maybe not be that big of a deal. So you have a couple things at work here. You have no Chubb. So I think the spread is going to eventually, I'm going to bet the Browns sometime this week, but I'm not going to bet them at plus 1.5. I'll catch them at plus 2.5 later in the week, or bet the money line or something like that when it's a little bit juicier. And like I said, the Pro Football Focus is the Browns rated as the number 2 team in football. The Patriots are number 7. They're also very good. They're ranked ahead of the Bills right now. And other teams that you might consider to be very, like the Titans are number 10. The Patriots are number 7. But here's the one thing that it kind of boils back down to is like quality of opponent that they beat. Like who have the Patriots wins come against? They beat the Chargers. That's a really good win. But other than that, I mean, the Texans and the Jets, the 2 worst teams in football, and Carolina's like bottom 5, bottom 10 as well now. Like, I just don't know if the one thing that Mayfield likely won't do is make some of the truly horrendous mistakes that Sam Darnold did last week. And I think that the defense for the Browns is still good enough to give Mac Jones a ton of problems here. This game feels like an under to me. It feels like it's going to be very slow, although the Patriots could be without both Damian Harris and Stevenson in this game. They both left last week with head injuries. Jonnu Smith might not play. I think they're a bit more banged up than maybe they seem. And yes, there's no Chubb for the Browns, but we've seen them overcome that. And now there's no Odell causing problems for them. They get rid of Odell. Maybe that's the kickstart that they need to their season, to start using Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz and Jarvis Landry, and maybe getting Njoku more involved. That I think these teams are kind of similar in a lot of ways with how they're constructed, both offensively and defensively. And I just actually trust Stefanski calling plays over Josh McDaniels right now, because the Patriots offense, well, like they put up points, but a lot of those defense influenced. I'm just not impressed with their offense whatsoever.
Yeah, I saw Jones firsthand. It wasn't as accurate as I anticipated, despite I don't really have anything bad to say. And I'm dumb enough to say that they ran the ball, I want to say 39 carries for 137 yards versus the Chargers. And I didn't think the Chargers did that bad a job. Except when you can't like win on first down, it just sets up for that death by 1,000 cuts. And I think the Browns can win on first down and make it, a lot more difficult. But you are right. It's more opponent based offensive attacks. I don't know. I don't love it. It's the game of the morning. It's going to be a boring one, but it's going to be on the big screen, I think, where I am. I'm going to take the Browns.
Yeah, so many of these games come down to just who has the better lines, and the Browns have the better offensive line and the better defensive line, and everything else kind of feels like a push, doesn't it, Tim? I mean, head coach, I'll take Belichick, but coordinators, I'd probably take the Broncos. Quarterback's probably a push at this point, isn't it?
Not when Mayfield is injured. No, I think Mac's probably slightly better. And it's in Foxborough. And don't underestimate what happens in Foxborough. The Patriots get every call.
They just won 3 straight road games, didn't they?
They sure did. They sure did. The Patriots are not a bad team. This game's in Foxborough. This is a Patriots team that took Dallas to the wire. They took Tampa to the wire. They're 5-4, and they're better than their record indicates. They're every bit as good as the Browns. I like the fact that the line is as short as it is, because it indicates that these 2 teams are close, even though that Vegas thinks that the Browns are better. I don't think they are. I really like what the Patriots have got cooking here. I think this is a very dangerous team, and to be underestimated at your peril.
What do you think ends up being the like popular side in this game, Geoff? Do you think that the public bets on the Browns or the Patriots? Because this feels like seeing the Patriots only at -1.5, that the public is just going to be like, oh my God. And when I say public, I just mean like your average guy who puts $100 on a game is just going to look at it and be like, oh my God, the Patriots don't even have to win by more than a field goal at home, coming off a win against Carolina. Like, they're great. Patriots, they're back. And then the Browns like tune them.
It does appear that the Browns win was clearly the win that resonated with people. This was an advanced Patriots line of -3. Last week's Westgate line was Patriots -3. So people were really impressed, but I wasn't one of them. But a lot of the guys I were with lost money on that Bengal game. It was a very popular sort of in the moment, bet with all the stank on the Browns, from the Odell stuff to that horrible loss versus Pittsburgh. Well, the Bengals are the cooler upstart, I guess, to many.
I'm excited to watch this game, despite it probably going to be the most boring game of the morning slate. Like, this game just reeks of, hey, let's run the ball as much as possible. It's probably gonna be like cold and raining in Foxborough. It doesn't reek of super entertaining. What was the game, Tim, that these two played where it looked like the Browns were going to win and then something happened that was just completely moronic and the Browns blew it? You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I feel like there was a blocked punt or a something like that. Yeah, I do remember that game now that you mention it.
I don't remember what it was. I think it was
2
like
years ago.
2 years ago. And I don't think it ended up being close, but it seemed like the Browns had like a stranglehold on the game and they just gave up like 2 ridiculous touchdowns. I was like, oh God, they got blown out in this game. So maybe that stuff can just happen to them. You just have Patriots DNA versus Browns DNA. It's a revenge game for Belichick. He always wants to beat the Brownies. But yeah, here we are. So Cleveland for everyone except for Tim. We got a lot of those. There were me, Geoff, and the coin are on one side. Tim, you're on the other side. This could be your catch-up week, or the week that you just get put in the body bag, where it's going to be pretty tough to come back from. But we are now at the midway point of the show, which means it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
I don't know that people are calling it that.
People can search Cust Corner on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts to get the Cust Corner exclusive feed, which is nearing being caught up to real time with Cust Corner. But the first 22 episodes, full length, of Cust Corner up that now. And if you are listening to this show right now, video-wise, audio-wise, we need some more reviews on Apple Podcasts. You don't even need to review it. Just go down and rate it 5 stars if you can. Be generous and leave a review. That would be awesome, but it takes like less than 30 seconds. We need to really boost this up. We're doing some ad sales, at least I'm doing some ad sales in about 3 weeks, and those ratings and review really do help. So if you have it in your heart, maybe I'll do some giveaways for it. Even if you do it this week, you'll qualify for it, but maybe we'll do that to really enhance those numbers, so I can get some bigger ad sales numbers. But please rate and review on Apple Podcast and Spotify. That would help out a lot. What did you want to talk about?
It's November sweeps. It's November sweeps for the podcast world.
Well, it's not.
It's a thing.
Well, it's not. November sweeps is actually when the shows air. I'm doing my next year ad sales now.
That's good enough. I'm going with it.
All right. What do you got for Cust Corner?
2 things. The first thing is, I am very concerned that the Bluetooth in my car has been jailbroken or hacked or something. Because when I turn my car on, my phone immediately tells me where I'm going to go, and it doesn't know where I'm going. I turn the car on Sunday afternoon, and it knows. It says in my driveway, it is 13 minutes to the address of the Mayo studio. Or if I go get coffee on my break, I turn the car on, and it says you are 8 minutes away from where I go get my coffee. And like, I'm getting very nervous. Like, has my Bluetooth in my car been hacked? Like, how does it know? I'm freaked. How does it know where I'm going?
I have a list of questions for you. 1, you still don't really seem to understand why. Let's say I hacked your Bluetooth, but I'm pretty sure it's impossible. What would that do if I hacked your Bluetooth? Why do you think
then you would know where I was going?
But why would your Bluetooth tell you? Obviously, your phone is telling you that.
Yeah, but my phone never told me that before in my old car. It only told me it since I synced up my phone to the Bluetooth in my new car. So the Bluetooth is the culprit.
When did you update your iOS? Because my phone actually gives me push notifications now for this.
I have no idea. I don't know. It does it on its own. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's a part of the new features of the 2 turns ago iOS.
I'm terrified.
Well,
how does it know where I'm going?
Okay, well,
how can it know?
You only go
hold on.
hold on.
I have more questions for Tim first before we give him the answer to this. 2, if someone hacked in to your Bluetooth, according to you, and you're the only person that knows where you're going, what would the hacker be telling it? You would be the only person who could hack it, right?
I don't understand. Like, I thought these things are supposed to collect just the metadatas, not the personal.
So sure. Do you know what metadata is?
Yeah, it's like the aggregate of data.
Do you have any idea what that means?
Yeah, like it's like a bundle of, this is where people shop for strawberries, and a bundle of, this is where people listen to music or the types of songs that they listen to. Like, it wasn't supposed to be individual. How does it know if I turn the car on Sunday at 1:00 that I'm going to your place? But if I turn the car on at 1:00 on Tuesday, it knows I'm going to get some EMMs. Like, how does it know that? How can it know that? It has to have been jailbroken or hacked or I don't know what. But if according
phishing, yeah, you can get phished for sure. That's going to happen to you at some point. We know this. But let's go with your theory that it's been hacked. Who else besides you knows where you're going?
Nobody. But yet they know.
So Jeff,
how do they know?
Would you like to tell him, or do you think you should leave that to me? Because I know that you know.
I think you guys shouldn't even tell him what's going on.
Well, what's going on is it knows what I'm going to do before I even do it. I almost felt like,
how can it be hacked? How can a third party tell you where you're going?
Tim, this might sound crazy.
Yeah.
But today, when I turned my car on and it said it was 8 minutes to whatever place to get my coffee, I defiantly went in the opposite direction to go to a different place for coffee, just to throw the hacker off the trail. Because clearly that's what they're expecting from me. And I don't know why or how, but I'm getting very worried about this.
Do you know who you sound like right now?
I do know what, but it's actually happening to me.
So can you tell the people, the person that I don't even need to you know who you sound like, you can tell the people.
Yeah, we used to have a university professor who believed that the KGB and CSIS were tracking him. And so would take a different route home from the office every day, or so as to not be tracked by, whatever secret agent from the Soviet Union was after him. But like, I'm obviously being tracked because they know that I'm going to certain places at certain times of the day. I turned my phone on, I turned the car on yesterday. It knew I was going to the gym to lift. Like, how does it know that? How can it know?
So here's the thing. I'll tell you, but you have to promise not to be shocked. Do you know who is tracking you?
I assume it.
It's you. You're the person who's tracking you, you moron. You go to the same you go to the same places at the same time every single day. You have the GPS turned on your phone, and it's sending you a reminder to be helpful to you because you always go to the same places.
Well, why would that be helpful? Or do I need instructions on how to get to Tim Hortons from my house? I could do it blindfolded. I don't need that help.
Well, it actually tells you the traffic report, too, if you actually listened to it and opened it.
No, I immediately try to close it and block it because I'm afraid that I'm being like jailbroken.
You're not. You are just the most predictable person on earth. For example, my phone tells me at 8 o'clock every morning when I walk out to my car, the traffic report between me and where I drop my kids off to go to school. Because I do the same thing every single weekday at the same time.
See, now that's why I would shake up the route so as to throw them off the scent.
You're throwing yourself off the scent, you idiot.
No, I don't want the trackers.
Okay, then turn off GPS on your phone. Make it easy.
But I need the GPS.
Oh, do you now? It doesn't sound like you want their help at all.
Why do you need it?
Well, there are places that I go outside of my comfort zone where I
So
need
just
to
turn
go.
it on when you go to those places.
I don't know how. Look. I don't know how to do that. Okay, I don't know how. Are you happy?
You are
know
bringing a tracking device with you everywhere that you're allowing to track you by having it on and using the GPS, and then going mental and not realizing that you're the one who's doing this to yourself.
But I didn't think they were tracking my individual movements. I thought they were just having an aggregation of
when you say
metadata to sell that.
Who do you think is tracking you?
Apple.
No, your phone is tracking you that you're bringing with you in order to be helpful.
But my phone is an Apple, so it is Apple who's tracking me then.
Sure,
and they sell that data to big companies.
Why are they selling the data?
To other companies.
Are you sure? Are you sure that they're selling that data of where you're going 24/7?
They must be selling it to so that advertisements can be sent out, that people who go to these certain places would be interested in knowing about, certain deals or sales, so that they would spend their money there. I assume that's what this was all about.
Well, I mean, that would be actually super genius, and I would really enjoy that. I never understand why people get so upset about targeting ads. I love targeted ads. It just shows me ads for things that I actually want instead of things that I don't want. I'll buy stuff off Instagram. I don't care about that. It's great. I've got some great.
Sure.
You saw my fresh jacket the other night. Got that off Instagram.
It's
That's nice. I have no idea if they're selling your GPS location or not to anyone. I don't think that they are, but it's supposed to be helpful to you. You just don't want to accept the robot's help.
No, I'm freaked. I'm absolutely, totally, and that doesn't make me soft, by the way.
That
I get scared by the GPS. Well, I'm afraid of what it's now doing. It never did that before. Now it's like predicting my movements. This is like AI.
Afraid of your shadow.
It's not that it's predicting your movements. I mean, I guess that it is, but maybe if you did things other than the 4 things you do throughout the course of the week, that maybe it's just telling you that you live a pretty predictable lifestyle, pal.
Well, no more than the next person.
I don't know about that. No, I would say that's probably wrong. Like it gets mine wrong all the time. Like whenever I get into my car at a certain time of day, it just assumes I'm going to the daycare. I'm not always going to the daycare. It's wrong. But I can look at it and be like, oh, I know where that's telling me where to go. And
no, this thing is right, like almost
because you never do anything else.
Okay, but I'm scared.
And you think you're not soft.
Well, I just thought that somebody had broken into the Bluetooth functionality of the car, sorry. It was tracking my movements.
You know when morons go online and they're like, man, I know 99% of people agree with this, but I saw this thing on YouTube that says this. That's who you're starting to sound like.
No, I'm not sounding like that crazy person. I'm just saying I was freaked.
And we've just explained to you that there's nothing to be freaked out about. So now you don't need to be freaked.
That's still very discomforting.
Then turn off your fucking GPS.
I don't know how.
Well, it's funny. You called Geoff a crazy person because he searched the internet to try to find a Chargers press conference.
No.
Shut up! On every available video platform that there was, because he put in the effort to try to find it. He couldn't find it, and then when he was going to go complain to people, at least he had exhausted his resources. If you just typed in, "How do I turn off the fucking GPS on my goddamn iPhone?" do you think fucking Google would tell you, genius?
I don't know. Sounds like Google is against me these days. They're conspiring with the phones and the Bluetooths to track me. I don't know, but yes, you're right, probably.
So why don't you just go do that right now?
I don't want to.
Would you say you scare easily?
Yes, I do scare easily. I'm very scared of change. I have been due for an update on my phone for almost 2 years, and I refuse to do it because I'm terrified of losing all my contacts or not backing things up correctly, and will I know how to work this new phone, and what will happen to all my apps, and the last time I did it, I almost lost Twitter forever. And
no, that's not true. You changed your phone number.
Well, yeah, but I also got a new phone the same day.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with you getting a new phone. If you just kept your number, everything would have been fine.
Yes, I found out at that point, which I didn't know until 2 years ago, that your phone number is attached to a chip rather than the actual physical phone that you have. I didn't know that. I know it now. I'm aware of it now. I'm not a dummy, but I didn't know it then. What? There's nothing weird about it. Like, it's like when you were younger, if you moved houses, then you got a new phone number.
Yeah, you got a new landline. You got a completely different number.
So you got a new phone. You got a new phone
different
number. I thought that's how it went.
No, because if you had
It's
got
the same basic
okay,
difference.
let's say you had the old rotary phone in your house, which you probably do because you're
Which we do.
Of course
Which
you
we do.
Of course you do. Let's say you 35 years ago you updated with the times and got like a cordless in your house. If you had just plugged that cord into the new phone, you would have kept the same number. It had nothing to do.
Yeah, that's
with,
correct. No,
it
that's
has
correct.
nothing to do with the phone.
No, but I just thought the cell phone is like the house in this analogy. At least that's where my brain was going. But I know that's not true now. I know there's a little tiny microchip that you slide in.
A SIM
out,
card.
right? SIM card, yes. A SIM card, yes. Yes, I know that now.
Yeah, like I got grandfathered into a really good plan when I lived in the States that I just kind of keep updated. Right now, it's like unlimited data. It's on a friend's package as well, so I can kind of leech off of it whenever I want. So I have an extra SIM card that I have with me that whenever I go to the States, I just pop in the new SIM card, and all of a sudden I have an American number, and I'm not charged like roaming and shit like that.
Oh, well, yeah, but I have that, like, spend $5 a day and use your phone like normal package.
Yeah, that's not even a thing anymore. You can just buy like worldwide data now. That's
Yeah, maybe. I haven't traveled internationally in quite a while. I'm not much for traveling.
yes, well, we know that, and you're not much for looking things up that scare you.
Well, it perturbed me to see that the car knew my movements.
The car
before
doesn't know where you're going. It's all coming
But it
from your
only
phone.
comes on when the car gets turned on.
Because it knows you're leaving, because you're going to your car. You've connected with the Bluetooth, therefore it's the signal from the car being like, oh, your phone's like, oh, yo, you're traveling somewhere right now. Please, let me try to help you out to make this an easier drive for you. But you're like,
Well, how does
no,
it make it easier?
you're like Michael Scott. You're like, no, I'm not listening. I'm going to drive straight into the lake. I'll show it.
No, that's not what's going on.
Oh, really? Does that not sound like what's going on?
No, it's just weird to have some computer predict your movements when you're like, oh, I think I should go to Tim Hortons for a coffee. And like, I don't know that I do it every day, but like
that's
I get
1,000, you said.
but it backs out like 1,000. Like it knows what I'm going to do before I'm going to do it.
Crazy.
But
So
it
I'm afraid
doesn't. But it doesn't know what you're doing before you're going to do it. You're walking out to your car knowing where you're going to go, and when you sit down, it's like, oh yeah, that is where I'm going, because you only go to 3 places.
I go to more than that, but still, it's just very.
You just follow the
Very
pattern. Did you have something else? Because I saw that there are new episodes of Storage Wars starting tonight, which I'm going to be watching after this, and Barry is back on Storage Wars.
So I did, but it's an evergreen thing. So this is what I'm excited about. Barry was by far the best character on the show. And I mean, we went through a stretch where we watched Storage Wars every single day on television. And so I am very excited for new Storage Wars.
If you had to guess, what year do you think that Storage Wars first debuted in?
2008? 2009?
2010 was the first year. It's been 14
Okay, so I wasn't too
seasons
far
now.
off that.
And you have your doppelganger on Storage Wars. You are the poor man's Renee from Storage Wars.
No, I'm not. I in that fact, that's when we
Paul,
stopped.
find a picture of Renee from Storage Wars, and you throw it up. That is Tim Andercust.
That's when we stopped watching the show, basically, when the core four left. I remember you told me a couple of months ago that Brandy isn't married to Jared. I couldn't believe that. I thought they were married. Like they were like, that was like, but they did.
No, they have 2 kids together, but it was just sort of like an act for the show that they were still together because they wanted to stay on the show. Barry was actually involved in a very serious bike accident in 2019.
Is that why he left?
I don't know. I mean, he's been gone for like 5 years from that show.
Yeah, he's been gone longer than that.
But he was in a very serious accident, so apparently he's doing much better now. I love Barry. Barry's great.
Barry's the best.
He's
with
the collector.
With those gloves. He does, and the best thing about Barry is he doesn't really care what it's worth, because like it's cool to him. And like Barry's got that like rich guy persona, which is really cool. That it's like he's not one of these rich guys who's trying to maximize every single penny out of every single transaction and trying to plus EV everything.
No, because
he's
he's so rich that he no longer cares at this point.
That may be, or he's just wealthy enough that he gets that like life is worth living, and who cares if that looks nothing like me.
Are you sure?
Nothing.
You need to get a buxom babe wife like Renee. Maybe when you're the
Geoff,
rich man's
okay.
Renee, you can get some babe wife.
Geoff's not even paying attention.
Geoff,
But,
Geoff, do you see this?
Oh, I knew exactly. I don't even watch the show a ton. I knew exactly who you were talking about when you said there's a guy on the show looks like Tim.
looks nothing like me. Nothing like me. Is are all the old guys back? Like is Hester back? And
I don't know. Hester's been back on the show. I don't know if I need to see any more.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need to see any more Daryl in my life, and just everything's more. That's a $30 bill right there. Like, it's funny.
There was something charming about Daryl. He brought that like good old boy country mystique to this show. Whereas like, Hester brought the sort of hard-nosed trader, hard-nosed sort of like shop owner who's out to squeeze every penny that he can in order to maximize his store. And like there's a role for that person. And then Brandy and Jared were sort of like the upstart young couple trying to make their way in the Storage War games, and like maybe one day could be in Hester's spot. And then you had Daryl, who's he had his store, and he's smarter than he seems, but he's got that sort of good old boy approach and says silly stuff and has an eye for deals. And then there was just Barry, who is somewhat affluent, and that looks nothing like me. Nothing.
That's half you, half Randy from Trailer Park Boys. That's quite the tan that guy's got going.
It looked like Alex Jones after he took that pill that was supposed to make him look healthier. He just got redder.
I mean, you got Alex Jones vibes to you.
No, I don't. Anyway, Storage Wars was a perfect reality television show. Now, I know
because it was completely rigged.
It wasn't completely rigged. It wasn't. Now, I remember reading that the auctioneer had a heart attack. And I don't know whether he is still with us or whether he recovered or what. I used to like those guys too. The whole show was great. I loved that show. That show was peak TV. Like the fact it didn't win like Emmys and stuff is outrageous because it was really enjoyable, smart TV that like the whole family could enjoy. It wasn't like off color. There wasn't a lot of profanity.
It was completely off color. All Jared ever talked about was trying to bone Brandy. That was their like entire bit.
No. It was said in like a Three's Company way, where it was like funny and innuendo, and nothing was ever said that would be inappropriate to say. I loved the show. I'm delighted to hear it come back.
I love the show too, but to say it's smart TV is ridiculous. It is something that you can throw on in the background and be like, "What the hell did that guy just say?" and just kind of keep watching it, or not watch it. It can just be on in the background. That's what kind of makes it a great show. I'm a big Renee fan. It's like why you're my friend. You remind me of Renee. Maybe that's the reason that we're such good friends. Also, they have Ivy who comes on who doesn't seem like he has a clue what he's doing. I like the characters on Storage Wars.
I'm out on all the characters that aren't the original characters. I don't know them. They're not a part of the show to me. Like when Cousin Oliver joined the Brady Bunch, it's like I guess he was on the show, but like wasn't that important.
I mean,
Tim, did you ever watch Below Deck?
Do I watch Below Deck?
Yes,
I watch Below Deck. I love Below Deck.
I don't
I'm
know.
such a Captain Sandy fan
because it's a way better reality show than Storage Wars.
It's a great show. Now,
way better than the Storage Wars.
Let's be honest. The quote-unquote yachts that they usually drive are a little underwhelming compared to real yachts.
Yeah, they're not the yachts Jerry Jones.
Right. Yeah, like if you went to the Monaco Grand Prix and someone tied up that yacht in the marina.
But I think they like a yacht that's big enough to get it's a yacht that's big enough where they can get a large cast of characters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's functional.
Because if you have the super yacht, then you're like the super yacht. There's only so few people who would actually be able to rent those in the first place.
Yeah.
No,
you make it, and the people who would be rich enough to rent the mega yachts wouldn't want to take a discount on a yacht to go on TV to be on a yacht too. You know what I mean?
So it's like a big enough yacht where like people who are like wealthy and have means and maybe a level of disposable income, but they're also like low enough grade where it's like perfect for them.
Put it this way: like, if eight of us went in on it, I'm pretty sure we could get a below deck yacht.
Let's do it.
I think we could, but I always kind of wanted to be a yachtsman.
Oh my god!
I thought I'd have been very good at I could have worn the white blazer and the cap and the ascot, and pulled the jib and said draw here and draw there and. I think yachting would have been something I'd have been quite good.
You're an expert at everything. We've been through.
No, I'm not an expert, but I think I would have been a good yachtsman. And I have a passion for yachts in some ways. And so
Have you
when I hear people
ever been on a yacht?
Yes, during the tall ships, there were yachts, actual yachts in port that I got to walk around. Now, the thing is, though, what I take umbrage against is people who, have, I wouldn't call them beaters, but like quote unquote boats that they call yachts. That, let's be honest, those aren't yachts. They're nice little boats. Like, that's fine. Like, they're not bathtubs. They're not like dinghies or whatever. But yeah, they're not yachts. Like, these things on below deck are nice. I guess it's the Mediterranean. You think there'd be like really nice yachts, and I'm sure there are. It's an okay yacht. Like, it's a serviceable yacht. It's not the sort of yacht that, like, I don't know, Aristotle Onassis would have owned.
So we can rent the below deck yacht for $140,000 for a week. I'm not saying that we have. Listen, I'm not saying that we're just going to go blow $140,000.
So that's the Mayo Media Network wrap-up party for this year.
On the below deck yacht, we'd have to get some good advertising, but I think you get a break out of it for being on TV. But then you probably have to leave like a $50,000 tip as well on top of it. I think that's kind of how it works. If you get decent service on the yacht for the crew, I mean, if we could pull our money together, if that's the one thing that we did in a year, we could do it.
We could definitely do it. But again, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I want to go on an actual yacht.
They don't want you. They don't want Cam. You're going to rob them blind of their sheep.
I don't know that we'd make very good TV either.
No. That's probably true, isn't it? Do you have a preference between Captain Lee and Captain Sandy?
I'm on Team Captain Sandy, 100%.
Really? I thought you would have enjoyed how gruff Captain Lee is.
Captain Lee's fine, but Sandy, I think, is both commanding, but also really engaging with her staff. And I think she's great. Like, she's the sort of captain you'd want to run through a wall for if you were a yachty.
Okay. Let's get to Geoff's team here. Minnesota at the Chargers. Fine Bolt coming out this week, where Geoff will have this in-depth breakdown on the Chargers. If he can ever get his hands on the press conferences. They're favored by 2.5 at home. 52 is the over-under. I am taking Minnesota in this game because, almost like Minnesota these two teams just come down to field goals at the end of every single game. So just give me the points. Easy.
Yeah, I'll go to let Geoff have the stage. I'm taking the Vikings too. Road dome. I like the Vikings.
I mean, you're right. Both teams are really close. The Vikings on the teaser over the touchdown feels like they haven't been in a game that doesn't go to the final 2 minutes or maybe even the final play. I was at a game versus the Vikings a couple years ago in the soccer stadium, and that was like 88% Viking fans. So I'm not going to make the same jokes I made about like Mary from Ohio. I don't know. I can only hope maybe Viking fan is really demoralized and doesn't want to go to the game. But I feel like Viking fan that lives in LA probably already bought their tickets and they'll just go to even see SoFi is enough reason to go. The Vikings do feel like a dead fish. Granted, I forget, it might have been Atlanta who you mentioned earlier, Pat, in that final playoff seed. It seems like there's 6 or 7 teams that are going to technically standings wise competing for that 7th seed playoff spot that the top 6 feel very much accounted for in the NFC. The Vikings are going to hit that field. The crowd's going to be 85% for them, and they're going to probably get really fired up. I suspect they have one more like big punch in them before they really do fold. Like, if you're playing the Vikings next week and they happen to lose this game, you're probably going to play a dead fish. I still think this is a team with life, and this is a bad matchup for the Chargers. The Chargers, I didn't get to see the Monday presser. And if you're not going to give it to me, you should at least give me a goddamn full transcript. But in the blurbs that I have gotten, which are below satisfactory, and they don't satisfy my soul and my needs, I don't know that we're going to get healthier at corner this week. In fact, we might even gotten worse off at corner because our like 5th corner tore his ACL. Chris Harris might be the number 1 corner on our depth chart healthy right now. he got exposed last week by Devontae Smith in the sense that Chris Harris is near the twilight of his career. He plays a very good, not what it used to be, but slot corner. But you get him in certain situations, and the Vikings with that running game and those receivers, they could keep the ball for 8.5 minutes. So can Justin go win it again for us? I guess that's what we're going to need. Finally, though, guys, I will close on this. Might have been the best special teams Chargers game in like 5 years. And that comes with a missed extra point. We were moving the ball. Like every time where we give up or get penalized 10 yards on kicks, the other team's making 10 or 15. We were on the plus side of everything in that. Andre Roberts and Hopkins have really maybe been core special teamers that changed, but we're so thin at corner, and that takes away even the guys that are special teamers. So that is a big concern. And I even bring insight to the beat reporters, because something I would like the coach to know on a press conference that I would like to watch, something that I thought for myself. The last 5 touchdowns the Chargers have scored, friends, the last 5 of them, the one to go up 7-0 versus the Patriots, the one to go up 14-7 versus the Patriots, the one to go up 7-0 versus the Eagles, the one to go up 17-10 versus the Eagles, the one to go up 24-17 versus the Eagles. Our last 5 touchdowns, we've given up a touchdown right away. Like, our run defense sucks. Make a hold. God forbid, would that fucking kill you? Get a little separation in the scoreboard. Then they can't nickel and dime us with 1,000 cuts of 4-yard runs. So I need to know coach's thoughts on 5 touchdowns, our last 5 being instantly answered. This is like a baseball fan. You score runs, you got it. That pitcher's got to go out there and give you a donut and get you back in the dugout. And I will end officially on this, changing the note. For the Blue Jays to have 2 of the final 3 American League AL MVP votes and not make the playoffs, I don't know that I'll ever be in a position healthy enough to get over it. I just don't want to talk about it ever again. I've literally put in my group chat, we're never going to discuss this. We had 2 of the 3 AL MVP candidates, and a team with 88 wins just won the goddamn World Series, and we didn't even get in the tournament.
I haven't really been watching much baseball. Who were the 2 guys? Jimmy Key and Dave Stieb?
No, it was Olerud.
Oh, it was John.
It was
Oliver.
Vladdy and Simeon. You probably never even heard of Simeon. You only know Vladdy because
please, as a finalist for Baseball Writer of the Year as late as 2014, of course I know who multi-position Trevor Simeon is, Oakland A's legend on my fantasy team that I could start at middle infielder and continue
How
to rank.
condescending of Geoff to assume you didn't know who he was.
No, I don't know. Yeah,
and crazy.
I guess Pat was he still doing baseball when I met him?
First year at
Maybe,
fantasy, I still did baseball. Then I dropped it for golf.
Okay, yeah. So you took an oversaturated, boring, and you said there's not enough people doing this, and we're doing something fun.
Yeah,
so that worked out, I think.
I kept the same demo. I just moved to a different sport.
Oh my!
Yeah, I didn't mean to insult your baseball, but yeah, it was Marcus Simeon and Vladdy, and Ohtani's going to win it. Although, yeah, whatever. I don't care about winning that award. I just
are you?
Well, you're not going to, because Ohtani had one of the best years in baseball.
No, I don't care about.
Why are you complaining about this on a football show?
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I don't know. That bothers me so much.
And you're going to fight with people in the YouTube comments about those complaints, and that's just where this is going.
No, I don't. That's not going to happen. I guess the Chargers are going to win. Herbert will just have to lead us to victory. I don't know what could possibly happen, though, that we'll be able to contain Dalvin Cook. God, I forgot about this. I have a wedding on Sunday.
Throw yourself down the stairs.
No, it's my friend, and I'm really excited, and he watches the show, so I don't want to say anything like way out of line.
Well, then you know what? Discretion is the better part of valor.
No, but I'm just going to put it out there. Like I mentioned last week that I went to the Charger game And even like before they lost, like even when they were winning or tied, I couldn't enjoy myself. And I'm mad at that because I go to a game so few. I should just be able to enjoy myself. This is another example of me as a flawed human in that I haven't been at a, like, yeah, weddings are, they're boring. Like overall, I've been to enough. We're like, this is my last friend to get married. So we're like, we're done here. Other than second weddings, and I guess that'll happen because divorces, I'm sure, will come in the 40s.
You can't skip the horror, Geoff, then.
No, I just want to say that, but I'm excited because this is my best friends. And as like a large group, because some people didn't come to Vegas and we didn't go to Vegas with wives, like in this group with my best friends in the world, like we have not hung out in a group that will be this large in a long time. So that's really nice and something that like I am kind of looking forward to, but I want to be able to allow myself to just have a nice night. And who cares if I miss some plays? Like, who cares if they win or lose? Like, you're going to do something you haven't done in a really long time with people you like. That should be able to like make you not care, but I can't not care. I'm flawed.
The issue is that even if you say like, hey, I'll watch the game later, you might not even be able to find the game on the internet because it's the Chargers.
Oh, I actually know how to do that. And I could get the game up without, no, I am too, people will just, no, that my brand is too strong even in real life.
I got married and Cody was streaming UFC, whatever it was, on his phone at the table. I didn't care.
No, and I even said to my wife, like, because the ceremony and then cocktails, it's like boring and the slow part of the night. It's like, that's rude. It's the ceremony. That's like the actual wedding. And my wife's like, listen, these are your friends. Like, it's your friend getting married. So you can do whatever you want, but acknowledge like it's rude and it's not right. And I'm like, you're right. Like, I know this isn't like an event I'm dreading. Throwing myself down the stairs has not even been a thought. The thought has been more like, why can't I just normally enjoy this?
Because
like a normal person.
You're the crazy person on the show. QED.
I'm the, you know what poll I'll win? Between me and you, who's more self-aware? That's the poll I'll win.
Okay, if you say so.
You're the guy
You were the guy
who just thought that his Bluetooth was hacked.
It is.
And then I don't want to go back to it.
Do you know why you're given such a hard time? Like, really, the if you had more self-awareness, it'd be so much harder to give you a hard time about lots of things.
I don't follow.
Exactly.
You don't fault, like, it's because in my like group chat, it's our friend that is the least self-aware who we make fun of the most, because it is in that lack of self-awareness where there is so much humor.
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm the unself-aware person in my group chats or anything.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Maybe that shows your lack of self-awareness.
I guess. Okay. You know, whatever. And I guess that probably needs to be soft too, right? Because that's what we're doing these days.
Well, no, I don't think that makes you soft. There's just we went through the entire list of things that makes you soft. Why don't you ask the other people who take a poll with the people in these group chats about who's the least self-aware? I guarantee
No, they're all against me.
Ah, yes, that's right. I forgot about that. Everyone is against you. Isn't that the case? So yeah, you can stream the game live from there, Geoff. I mean, that's not the end of the world.
I get it.
I want to give a special shout out because I've been to probably like 3 or 4 Jewish weddings now, and I didn't probably go to one until I was like 28 or something like that. I was blown away. Like, after the cocktail hour, after the ceremony, like, when we're getting ready for the reception, it is like a fucking college football game. There's, like, jock jams playing. People are fucking firing out of the hole, coming out. Everyone's dancing. I was like, what in God's name is going on? It really overwhelmed me the first time I saw it.
Yeah, that can happen. There's some people that like to get, like, tossed and I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they're up on the chairs. People are doing this thing like they're linking, and I'm like, I don't like being touched all that much. So
and I'll be honest,
really
I am not. it's also like maybe not something to brag about. I don't really participate in the horror.
Oh, Geoff.
I don't want to be a mess. It's way too early in the evening for me to be like
a lot of
liquid
sweat.
mess.
Yeah, a lot of sweat. That's a lot of a lot of upper
Yeah,
body strength.
I'll
Maybe
just,
that's why
move
Tim is lifting
Tim.
now, so he can go and be like a dummy person who comes in and gives you the lift.
No, I got to move where like I'll find my way in a close spot. I'll have the camera find me, and then I'm quickly bailing.
I like it. Smart. Very aware. Keeping up appearances. I like it.
Yeah, perception is reality.
Yep, in essayist Persepi.
So you're taking the Chargers here?
Yeah, I really don't have a good feeling about this game. Like Justin Herbert is going to have to answer 8-minute Viking drives with 3-minute Charger touchdown drives.
Here's a fun one. Panthers at Arizona. We don't know if Darnold is playing. We don't know if Kyler is playing, but the Cardinals either way are favored by 10 points. Cardinals is who I'm going to take. Tim.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this game, and I'm not going to monologize about it either. I think it's the Cardinals or don't play the board.
Geoff.
I've bet every big favorite. No, I took Detroit, but
And you took Washington.
Oh yeah, that's right. So good. Yeah, I can take the Cardinals here. Last week was the first time of the season, I think, on this show I picked up against Carolina. I don't know. It's really hard to make sense of what is going on, but it's
Not well coached.
if you actually watch it, it's worse than you could imagine it could be going. Give me Arizona.
All right, so round of Arizona for the three of us. The coin is on Carolina. We can kind of fly through this next game, too. It is the Eagles at Denver. This is a tricky situation for me because Denver, of course, is favored by 3 at home, and 44 is the total, which it has to be because these two are the same teams, just in the separate conference. These are the two teams that I've been using as my example all year long. Now they're playing each other. So can I bet tie? Can that work? I guess that would mean I would take Philly, but...
You can, but they don't have many common opponents, but Dallas destroyed Philly and the Broncos destroyed Dallas. I think that the Broncos should be 3.5 point favorites. So there's a tiny bit of value on Denver, and that's the way I would play this game.
If you consult the overall PFF grades that I'm looking at right now, would it surprise you to learn that Philadelphia is 15th and Denver is 16th?
I'm not shocked to hear that they're close to one another, but I am surprised to hear Philadelphia is better ranked because Philadelphia has been just so putrid in so many games that and they're also being boosted by absolutely destroying teams in week 1 and week 4, right? Like 2 terrible teams. So I don't know. I think that's inflated. I think Denver is the better team. It's at Mile High. I'm going to take Denver.
Inflated. I would say I don't really understand what you could think is inflated. Firstly, Denver last week was a 1.5 point favorite. Now, what did you say the number was? The full 3?
No, I said Philadelphia being ranked above Denver in the PFF rank seems a bit inflated.
No, Philadelphia is way better than Denver. Denver lost to Denver isn't good. Denver just had a huge win last week. The Eagles have been getting a bit better. The Eagles have been they've just had a run of games versus Cowboys, Chiefs, Bucks, Raiders, Chargers. Their records could be similar. I actually don't think they're the same team, in the same class. I think they can make things happen with Hurts, who I was really impressed with. And I'm telling you, the Chargers were trying to not let him run for the first downs. There's just nothing they can do. I thought there was some holding on some plays, but it's okay to complain about holding as a fan of football. That's just fans complaining, but it's when you get the insanity reffing like we saw on Monday this week. That's when it's really well beyond just fans complaining about officials. That being said, the Eagles, I don't know, they're trending in the right direction. Give me the Eagles. This could be SUPERLOCK. I don't think these teams are nearly as equal as the records tell us they are or not.
I mean, the 3-6 Eagles, the 5-4 Broncos. I think these teams are about as equal as you can get. And since this game is not a pick'em, I will just take Philly +3. This just reeks of coming down to a field goal. Like, push it worst. Do your worst, Denver. Maybe they'll run all over them because Eagles have no run defense to speak of. Maybe they'll just do the exact same thing that they did to Dallas last week. But Denver sucks at tackling. And that's a real problem when you have someone like Hurts, who is just going to evade a pass rush, and then he's off to the races. This feels like a 80-plus yard Jalen Hurts rushing game. So we'll see about it. The coin is going Denver with Tim. Seattle's at Green Bay. Russell Wilson might be playing quarterback for Seattle. Aaron Rodgers might be playing quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Or both of them might not be playing. That said, they do have a spread. It's 3.5 Packers right now. 49 is the over-under. Even without Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay improved to 8-1 against the spread. Seahawks 5-3. There's rumors that they might sign Beckham. I haven't seen anything about that yet, but how healthy can Russell Wilson be? I know he had that like magic water that cured his concussions a while ago. Does he have like
You've stolen my line?
He has magic powder that he rubs on his broken fingers and like they're magically healed. Like,
yeah, see, you've stolen my line. I had it written down here that this Russell Wilson is living proof of the value of his healing water. I love Seattle in this game. I have to be honest with you. I think what Rodgers has done could absolutely spike this season for Green Bay. And I mean, like, really, like, tailspin it. That's how bad I think things could
why,
be
though?
there.
Because doesn't this feel like Aaron Rodgers comes out and throws 30 touchdowns in this game?
No, I don't think so at all. I think the Seahawks win the game, and I'm going to tease them up. Seahawks are probably my super lock as we're looking at it. I don't think they're afraid at all of coming into Lambeau. And the Packers, yeah, they covered last week. They scored 7 points. That offense couldn't have been more incompetent. I just don't see the value on Green Bay at all. I think that team could be leaking some oil and has been put into an awkward circumstance. And I'm going to take what the Seahawks have and what and Russell Wilson being good enough to play and feel pretty good about it.
I like Seattle. I like Seattle in this game. I don't love the game. It's not in a contention for super lock. I kind of see what Tim is saying, that maybe there's a dip here from the Packers based on last week. I'm also worried it goes not worried, but I very much believe it's equally as probable that it goes the other way. And Aaron like unlocks that part of himself, like Brooks Koepka in a major now. Like he has we know he doesn't talk to his parents, but like he has his dad died, Brett Favre kind of like game, sort of in this moment where all the attention in the world is going to be on him. If someone wanted to make some insane exotic Rodgers alt line touchdown prop, like I could see the way that it works out because that's how vindictive souls operate. That being said, I'm taking Seattle. The events of Aaron Rodgers and a lot of things though recently, it just shines a spotlight to me, Pat, on why an operation like yours here can be so successful. A couple idiots, crazy people, one self-aware, one not, talking football games on this network, like all your other shows, because all these guys, like at the top of the media chain, they all suck and they don't know anything. They're able to break a trade. That's all they have on you, is an ability to break a trade. Who gives a shit? You'll get that trade information on a platform. But all I know is all off season, before the assault allegations came out, they flooded our ears with what a great guy Deshaun Watson was, that we should take his trade request seriously because of what a great guy he was. Even if he signed his contract after the Hopkins trade with an owner that we knew the history of the McNair family. All they did was fire Bill O'Brien, who we all considered an idiot, and hired a guy from the Patriots organization, whom for the most part people, well, respect. And I know they got their weird preacher thing going on in Houston, but it's not like the situation was worse after he signed his contract than before. It was probably even better. But we were told he's such a great guy. Then the other shoe drops because they don't know anything. All freaking summer, I watch these shows. They all come on, these top insiders, and I'm not blaming the hosts. I like the hosts, your Eisens and your Patricks, what have you. But all summer, we got told how smart Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers went to Cal, people. He is so much smarter than us, and we have to give his concerns so much more respect because of how smart he is. He's not fucking smart. I don't even care to agree or disagree, but how he went to share his opinion is probably as dumb as I've ever seen anybody. So yeah, that's all I'll use my time on this game to say is they suck. And that's why ventures like yours and others can be successful, because those guys don't know fucking anything. All they're able to do is break a trade, and that's a valuable asset, and it's going to get you 3 million followers. But that's all you got, like, in terms of being able to tell us anything we don't know, because we're all watching the games, pal.
Feel like Rodgers with that McAfee interview was just trying to troll everyone as much as possible.
Yeah, because he's so smart.
But yeah, but I listen, if he was so stupid, he would have come out today and basically, after he lost the first sponsor and State Farm stood by him, someone just sat him down and was like, listen, Aaron, here's what you got to say. And he was like, yeah, okay, I see it now. And he came out and said maybe he apologized for misleading people, and he's going to try to put this behind him. And when he goes out and wins this game by like 28 points, no one's going to give a shit anymore. It's just,
yeah, I agree. And he'll outline Rodgers 4 touchdown passes.
Winning, being an athlete. And it's not like he's in any sort of legal trouble or anything like that. He might face punishments from the NFL, but I'm pretty sure that if anyone's going to face punishment from the NFL, it's probably the Packers organization and not him. And
he's just a selfish jerk.
Yeah. And
let his team down. And that's the key. They threw away a game they would have won by, 14 points, 17 points last week because of his selfishness and his deception. And I am of the opinion that that's going to matter. And I mean, you guys don't think it is going to matter, but I think it's going to matter.
I picked Seattle. I'm not sure if it's going to matter. I'm saying is it might matter, but it's got just as good of a chance as flipping the other way. Like Rodgers self-motivating himself. Like when Rodgers wants to F you the world, that seems like historically when he's good, like plays at these supreme levels. So I think
he also was coming off coronavirus, which can really affect your body. And I don't expect him to come back from coronavirus and just play as if nothing happened. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm just here to say I'm more disappointed in like I don't want to just say stupid talking points, but like in all the fake news and the loser media that I am in Aaron Rodgers, who I'm disappointed in Aaron Rodgers to a certain minor extent, but I think a lot of it's been overblown. The media were also the people that like choose not to question when he said that statement about they just took it, okay, whatever. I think it's definitely been overblown though. And I could see, I didn't really see the comments today, so I feel bad if I said something and he's fully like walked something back.
He hasn't really walked it back. I think that he realized that his PR people told him, was like, man, I know you normally come off like sort of as an arrogant jerk. He kind of came off like as a prick in this one. Maybe you try to like do some damage control here.
Yeah.
Like he could be diminished coming off of a case of COVID. He might not be. I don't know. But what I do know is that Russell Wilson broke like his fucking hand 3 weeks ago. Needed to go on IR, get pins in it, get surgery, and he's back like 3 weeks before anyone thought he was going to be back. I feel like that might be more of a detriment here than Rodgers coming off COVID.
Maybe he feels like Wolverine.
We'll go to the Sunday night game because this one's big implications for old Jeffrey Fienberg, as we have the Chiefs at Vegas. I have it written down that the Chiefs are 2.4 point dogs at home. They're actually 2.5 point dogs at home. 51.5 is the over-under. I mean, the Chiefs got to win, but I'm picking the Raiders to cover this game. The Raiders been pretty good in primetime, Tim.
They sure have. I'm teasing Oakland up. I think they're going to win the game.
When does the heat go too far, Geoff, on the Chiefs being bad? Or do people still not believe like they're... Are people still believing that, like, hey, they're going to turn it around and win the Super Bowl? Or has the pendulum shifted the complete opposite direction? Like, oh, they're no good.
I think it shifted this week.
Okay. I am still very much afraid of them. I consider them as a team in this AFC West race. They're the team I fear the most. It probably should be the Raiders. The rosters, the stats say it should be the Raiders. I'm just like, we're in week 9. They're part of this like 13 team AFC smorgasbord, and they haven't played their best football yet. Are they capable of it? The team that wins there's the Super Bowl, just like Tampa last year, they will play. The team that wins the Super Bowl has not played their best football of the year yet. This is like an evergreen thing with football. So they're almost right in it, and they haven't peaked yet. They haven't even gotten close to getting hot. So maybe they can peak at the right time. I'm one of these people, like, they need to have their head cut off. I'm a negative person, I guess, but they need to have their head cut off before I believe that they are done. They need to do the little things better. I know they're capable of doing the incredible. They need to do the basic things in football better. I think there's good enough players on that team to figure it out. I don't know. Maybe I'm just keep picking them on the show. Although I had them last week. That's not a fair game, but I was on the Giants plus the points, but I'm picking them here. Maybe because I just want to say when they do figure it out that like I wasn't calling for them dead as dead. But yeah, I'm going to pick them here. They're game back of the division, a game and a half because the Chargers have a head-to-head. I think about them too much for a team.
They're a half game back of the division, so a full game back. They're 5-4. The Chargers are 5-3.
Yes, but if we tied, the Chargers would still own it.
If you tied the Chargers, yes. If yes,
that's all. So I'm saying, like, from official standings, but yes, they are a game back because being tied after week 10, they're like, you could say we're tied, like that tiebreakers aren't really in play yet, and they could still control it with another head-to-head. So you're right. I'm happy to say they're a game back. They're right in it. I'm not counting them off. I have more confidence that they are standing and are going to be a problem for me in December than the Raiders are. That could be my, that's just me being naive, but that's where I stand. Give me the Chiefs in a game. I'll bring it up again. Not really thrilled I'm going to miss because of this wedding. Jews and Sunday night weddings. Oh.
It's a tough one for Monday morning workers, but yeah, that was another thing that always threw me off was the Sunday night wedding. I was like, how about this?
Well, because we can't get married on Shabbat.
Yeah, you can't have it on the Sabbath.
But I had my wedding. There's like a few Saturdays a year that like it can work for. I remember I needed a Saturday wedding.
But why not Friday night then?
Because that's when Shabbat starts.
Yeah, no, you can't do. That's like, yeah, no. You can't get anyone to marry you. A rabbi won't marry you on Friday.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But there are some Jews that do like Thursday night like weddings.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, then you would only have to skip Baltimore or Miami. That wouldn't sound so bad.
No, I wouldn't mind that. I'm actually really
the Raiders.
If this was a wedding and company I wasn't excited to be around, these would be the sort of nights where I like moments where I would consider throwing myself down the stairs.
Well, here's one thing that the Chiefs are favored by 2.5 in this game, and I do think that people chasing their losses will go to the Chiefs in this spot. Just looking at the AFC West division odds right now, the Chargers are the favorite. They're plus 130. The Chiefs are plus 160. The Raiders are 5.5, and the Broncos are 7-1. These are all teams with 5 wins. All 4 of those teams have exactly the same amount of wins. So that's telling you how.
And I asked you last week that question, and Broncos were like 15-1 last week.
We didn't think they would beat Dallas. We just thought they would cover against Dallas.
Yeah, so that sort of flipped it for them. The Chargers and Broncos haven't played it all yet, and the Raiders and Chiefs still have 2. So this is the first of 2 for them.
Monday Night Football, Rams in San Francisco. I shall make this one pretty quick as well. I'm taking the Niners, who are 3.5-point dogs at home in this game. 48.5 is the over-under. Once again, this line makes absolutely no sense to me, so I'll just take the stupid side of the line and take the Niners 3.5. Tim.
I'll tease up San Francisco in the last part of the teaser. I like San Francisco on the money line. I think their front 7 can do exactly what Tennessee did to the Rams, which is to distract and disturb the passing rhythm that Stafford has. That's the most effective way to beat a Sean McVay offense. In the biggest games, that's how teams have stopped them over and over. And San Francisco has the horses to do so. So I like the Niners here.
Jeff.
This is going to be a really close game, and the amount of money on the Rams in this game, it will probably be it's a primetime game that I expect to be the most lopsided betting game of the week. The Rams, off that loss, people took a bath on the 49ers. Like, they assumed no Kyler, like that was free. No one's going to want to touch them. If there's reverse line movement in this one, I'll stuff the 49ers good. But yeah, I don't like, for a game that's supposed to be all very public one side, in my opinion. All three of us are trying to, well, you guys aren't considering that, but I find it weird that we're all going to be on the side I consider the hyper not public side. But yeah, give me the 49ers as well. And I expect the spread to move in our favor.
Super locks for week number 10. Again, I'm 8-1. Congratulations, Pat. That's very good work. Jeff is 6-3. That's also very good work. Tim has rallied back to B. He got back to 500, then dropped back below. He's 4-5 now. I'm going with the Saints +3 as my super lock. Jeff, who are you going with?
Tim, you go first.
Seahawks +3 in the hook.
+3.5. Jeff.
I'm going to take Philly. I was really impressed by them. I watched that game last week. If Jalen Hurts could have hit some wide open receivers, the Chargers would be done. Yeah, I think Denver's really bad and really overrated off a win that screwed a lot of people, I think. So Philly.
So to recap your free money tease, 6.5 point tease this week, Tim. Indy -3.5. Pittsburgh -1.5, Seattle +10, San Francisco +10, and Vegas +9. Is that correct?
You got it. Bet the farm, win 3.5 farms.
All right. One more win, and I think you're out of the hole monetarily.
Yep, and we still have Thanksgiving coming, and I never miss a Thanksgiving. So
you are 2-7 lifetime on this show.
Yeah, but I had one weekend where I hit both ends of the Thanksgiving teas.
Yeah, and you're still 2-7.
Well, whatever. I'm already doing my Thanksgiving research.
Are you? Who's playing on?
Well, the lines are on DraftKings Sportsbook already. So
are
I've
they?
been
the super advanced lines
for the
what are
three
the games?
Bears, Lions, Raiders, Cowboys, Bills, Saints.
Okay. I mean, whatever. Who cares what that first one? But I can dig it.
You could tell me that the Lions and Bears play every Thanksgiving, and I would believe you.
They rarely switch it up, but that is the definite majority Lion game.
They used to get the Packers all the time on Thanksgiving, but that's less often now.
Like, I remember we were making fun of Trubisky for like sliding when he had the sticks a couple years
in a row. We had the Vikings and Lions like twice in a row.
Wait, remember?
I just remember being in college.
Was it Bills and Cowboys?
We had Bills, Cowboys,
Chargers, Cowboys.
The Cowboys games always got the better opponent.
Remember that Panthers Cowboys that paid for Christmas for people?
Chatting about that this weekend.
Yeah, we were. I think that was the single biggest bet that I had ever placed on football was on that game to that point.
Yeah, maybe. And you literally said, go pay for the holidays. Bet this game. It's fun when it works that way.
Yeah, I mean, I won a lot of money on the Chargers last week. That was a bigger bet that I had on Carolina. And
I want to say, I don't know whether it was on this one or Fine Bolt, but I did put it out there that the plan was to pay off the U.S. visa on the Chargers last week. So that was a freaking sweat, but we got there, baby. Woo! And, we should put this in the show. You want to talk about a free roll? Guy across the street from me, doesn't person live there, but if you park across the street from me, like where I back out from my driveway, that's an illegal parking spot. But people park there because the guy runs like a dog grooming service out of his house across the street. So there's a lot of pickup drop off. I backed out of my driveway. It was probably my first or second day back from vacation where I had lots of room backing out and in my minivan rental. So just a different vibe, even though I'm back in my old car. I roll right into the car that's parked there. Okay. Like, I think I crunched it. I'm like, shit, F. Like, all that Hideki money I just lost on the Vikings versus the Cowboys. Like, I pissed that money away. Like I got to pay something now out of my own pocket. Long story short, I look at it. There's not a scratch. I literally feel like I won like $3,000. Like I'm feeling like I hit a huge parlay. Like,
would you have to pay damages? I mean, I'm not an insurance agent. If someone is illegally parked,
when it's a parked car, it is 50-50.
yeah, that's not how.
I'm not sure, but I'm one of those people that would be like, just let me know what it costs. I don't want to deal with insurance. I'll probably just pay you.
I don't know how.
Although maybe if it's really bad, like, don't you just save insurance for when it's really bad?
I guess it depends. There's something to do with deductibles. I have no idea how any of this stuff
I
works.
guess. I don't know. Maybe I just, yeah. I grew up in a house where, like, can we pay it off instead of dealing with insurance? That might be the better move, but I guess it depends how bad like if you really screw up, that's what insurance is for.
Yeah, and you need to have the cash to pay for that stuff too.
Yes, I guess if you want to pay someone off, you actually have to be able to afford it.
Yeah,
You're right, but nonetheless, that feeling, like I can't explain.
Jeff
Like,
too rich.
I can't explain the feeling. It probably felt like what lifting felt like, seeing no damage.
The same endorphins.
But I was firing.
Over my head.
I was firing. I was like, I didn't do this, but like for a moment, I'm like, I could make a huge bet tonight and it could lose, and I think I'd still be at even. But I'm smarter than that. Like those were older degenerate habits where I'm like, no, like we don't need to do that. I get enough enjoyment out of games. Like you realize, like I could put X on the game, but I really get just as into it putting Y on the game. So let's just put Y on the game. Like we don't need X.
I like that. I mean, that's mostly how I am most of the time too. I have like the amount that I want to bet that, you know, it gets the juices going. It doesn't need to be every cent that I own at the same time.
And I could bet more, but I've noticed like when I bet more, I don't like it's the same juices. So I'm just here for the juice. We're having a good time. Do it responsibly. I don't know. It's my advice.
Yeah, good advice to have. Geoff Fienberg, you can follow him on Twitter at gfeinberg17 and watch Feinbolt on the Mayo Media Network. Plus, you can check out all of his golf content at Odds Checker. And he's like shilling other places now. I recommend that you use DraftKings Sportsbook whenever possible. If you follow Geoff, he might tell you somewhere else. Who knows? I also want to thank Paul and the Coin and Tim Undercust.
Tim and Cust.
That's not my name.
Geoff, did you know that we went back to that restaurant where the waiter recognized him last weekend, and Paul tried to order a rye and Diet Coke, but the only Diet Coke on the premises was exclusively reserved for Tim Andercust?
There it is. Tim must have been smiling.
It arrived in a champagne bucket.
Oh,
it was amazing.
I'm so happy for you because I know how happy it would make you.
I was beaming ear to ear. It was, again, a marvelous gesture. And we know the guy who works there is listening, and we say thank you yet again. It was you're too kind.
Might invite him to come watch Football Sunday with us. I think that
may have to happen.
That might, and then he'll never want to listen to the show again after hearing us fight for 8 hours on Sunday.
Yeah, just like watching this show and multiplied by 4.
Yeah, but far more offensive and tougher language. Which is really shocking at that point. Who you betting in golf, Geoff? You betting Reed and Brooks? Because I am.
No, I'm betting Scott. I bet Kokrak. I'm betting Reed. I'm almost in this auto Reed situation through the fall at least. And I could get suckered back into Hatton again on Bermuda. I'm not there on Brooks. I'm not there. People run to bet Brooks because he says he's hitting buckets of balls.
No, he isn't. The difference between this week and last week is Brooks is 30-1 in this field. He was 30-1 last week. And there were good guys last week. There's not really good guys this week.
Yeah, I know, but I'm silly enough to believe like this is actually like preseason to Brooks.
It was last time too. And like the last time, if we start just taking these numbers like we did in Phoenix, like he was a train wreck going into Phoenix this year. He just won.
Yeah, but he was 50 and he'd won there. But people were saying he built this course or something.
He was like third here last year or something.
Yeah, I think he helped design it.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, you're right. I guess this isn't like a Mexican vacation like last week. I don't know. I think a guy like Hatton or Finau pop, as silly as that sounds, but like over Brooks if I'm in that range.
All right. Well, for more golf content, you can check out the Pat Mayo Experience. Me and Andy Lack broke down the entire field, and the cheat sheet will be a part of the newsletter where you get this show a day early if you just subscribe to it. That's down in the description. Listeners League, sub to the channel, like the episode. We hope you had a good time. Want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!